Nah.
Street Fighter Alpha.
Yep.
That's what right here said.
See, look. That's it. You definitely don't know.
Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Shalom, brothers and sisters.
Shalom.
Shalom, everybody online. Thanks for joining us for another live class. We're the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're located at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. Our class times are Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m., Friday from 6 to 9 p.m., and Saturday morning Sabbath class from about 10 to 2. Okay, if you're in the San Antonio or Albuquerque or Austin area, we have class. Hit us up and we'll get you the info. Okay, as far as announcements, this Saturday, this Sabbath, September the 8th, is going to be the memorial of the blowing of the trumps. It is a high holy day. It is a feast day. We will be getting together. If you're in the Houston area and you want to join us on September the 8th, hit us up and we'll get you the location and time. Okay? As far as that, September the 8th, that's this Saturday, right? So make sure I say it because we got one more class and then, yeah, so September the 8th, memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Okay? The brothers have a business in the First Colony Mall, so if you're in Sugar Land area, Houston, go ahead and pay them a visit at First Colony Mall. American Eastern Oils, located next to the Victoria's Secret. You can get all your aromatherapeutic, fragrant body oils, okay? Bath bombs, soaps, body butters, all natural things of that nature, okay? We have our kids class every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. So if you have any kids under the age of 12, right? What is it?
Well,
What's the age?
we have 15-year-olds.
15, yeah. If you got any kids that you want them to learn, bring them on through on Sunday here at the school from 2 to 3. And you can watch our pre-recorded kids classes on our ISBHPK Kids channel. Okay, for our live classes, you can check us out on ISBHPK, and that's the YouTube, all right? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Look out for the Hidden Truth Cable Show, new season. Okay, that's gonna be on Comcast Local Channel 17, or you can stream it live on hmstv.org every Saturday at 8:30. We also got brothers, the brother Mashaba out in Albuquerque doing the Blog Talk Radio every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 9:30. That's blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, MASHAHBA. Okay? So blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, Tuesdays and Thursdays starting around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And you can actually subscribe to that. If you have like a little podcast on your phone or podcast player, you can subscribe to that. Okay? If you need any garments made, any headbands or armbands, anything that needs to have fringes added, or you want a custom garment, you can go on Facebook and search Israel Wear, and the sisters will get you whatever they'll fulfill that order, whatever it is that you need. Okay? If you need to reach a teacher, Text only during class. You can reach Priest Kazakia at 281-707-2737. You can reach me, Priest Kwatazap, at 303-557-8979. You can email any questions or concerns to isbhbk@isbhbk.org. Okay, for your donations, any form of contribution is welcome and needed. Books, pens, papers, cars, clothes. We're in need of a new building. We're in need of a contractor. We want to, if we can't get a new building, we want to move our heating unit, heating and AC, the HVAC unit. We want to move that, relocate it to another side of the building to get more space. So if you know any contractors in the area that will work with us, let us know, hit us up. For any monetary donations, the Wells Fargo account number as well as the Google Wallet information will be on the screen. And you know, we definitely want to thank everybody that's been given thus far, everyone that vowed the school vow. We appreciate you. Don't forget, if you haven't sent that in, please do so. But we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate the help. You know, again, it goes to keeping the school running. It goes to paying the lights, the internet, the rent. You know, we got the business, but the business, you know, it can't shoulder all the burden. So when y'all help out, it definitely lightens up some of that burden on the school. Okay? What we're gonna do, that's it for the announcements. Get that over here, turn this fan off, don't get cold. I get cold easy. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna finish up this class. This is part 4, right? This is part 4 of the beginning of the end. So we're gonna finish it up. A lot of information. Hopefully we're painting a perfect and precise picture of what these end times were going to be like. Can you take this to the back for me? If it, yeah. Take that to the back. Wow. So what we're trying to do is paint a picture of what these last days and what the beginning of the end looks like. And for the most part, you know, a lot of the classes showing what the world and what Israel is already going through as a whole. So we touched on the wars, the rumors of wars. We touched on the wicked being punished. Last class we touched on the invasion. When the angels came down, what would happen? What would be happening with the angels? And what destruction and death they will be wreaking on this wicked and filthy society, right? We talked about, we showed about Yahweh Shai, and there was one thing I wanted to clear up. Go to Revelations 19 and verse 11 real quick. Because during the invasion, I just want to make sure I have misedified a point in Revelation. I just want to make sure that I'm clear, that everybody's clear. Go to Revelations. One sec, let me find it. Where it said there was standing on the sun. Oh, find it real quick. Go to Revelation. I just want to clear this up. That way everybody got it. Revelations 19. Is that what it is? Yeah, go to Revelations chapter 19 and verse 17.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 17.
Go ahead.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
Right.
And he cried out with a loud voice.
Right.
Saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of the heavens.
Right. So what I was saying, and where I made the mistake was I said the fowls were the angels, but these are actual fowls. And how we know when you read it, go ahead.
come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
Right, the supper was the dead. The supper, all the dead bodies that were going to be dropped, the fowls of the air. It's just like when you watch,
Vultures.
yeah, you watch like a TV show when they say when the vultures start circling, there's death. Yeah, so that's what it's talking about. So I just want to make sure that was clear. I misspoke and I said the angels. I said that the fowls of the air were the angels, but the fowls are actual birds. They're going to be going and they're going to be picking at these bodies because there's going to be so many. They're going to be devouring, as we read, the kings, the flesh of captains, mighty men. So just wanted to make sure that was clear. All right, so then we went from there. Then we talked about Esau getting his part. Yahushua, right, going through. And you know, what do we read? Isaiah 34, Isaiah 63. You know, all the scriptures that we know to go to dealing with Esau and just showing the Most High is going to cut them out. He's going to stomp them like the wine press, right? Go to Isaiah 63 real quick. Go to Isaiah 63.
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1.
Just a brief recap. I mean, we're not going to take all the time to go over what we already went over. You can catch the part 3, the invasion, if you just go back a few days on the YouTube and get it in its entirety. But go ahead, read that. Isaiah 63 and verse 1.
Who is this that cometh from Edom?
Go ahead. They're coming from where?
Edom.
Come on.
With dyed garments from Bozrah.
Bozrah.
This that is glorious in his apparel.
Come on.
Traveling in the greatness of his strength.
Read.
I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
Mighty to what?
Mighty to save.
Right, so we know this is speaking of Yahushua. But it was a question, who is this that's coming from Edom? Right? With dyed garments from Bozrah. These are Edomite dwellings. Go ahead.
Wherefore, thou art red in thine apparel.
Wait, but the scripture said that Christ came down with his garment white. Right? It says what?
Thou art red in thy apparel.
Read on.
And thy garment like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
Yeah, it said this. First of all, the scriptures say that Yahushua was going to come from the heavens in all white. Right? With the army, the angels dressed in all white linen.
Right.
But now it's saying that when he's coming from Edom, his garment looked like he just tread the wine fat. He was stomping out nations. Go ahead.
I have trodden the winepress alone.
Go ahead.
And of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger.
He would do what?
Tread them in my anger.
Yeah, the Most High, Yahushua, is repaying Esau back for all the mistreatment, all the death that they put on us, all the rape, the robbery, the murder. He said, I'm gonna tread them in my anger. Go ahead.
And trample them in my fury.
Yeah, when you getting trampled, imagine, come on, man, y'all see people getting trampled by each other, and you're like, damn, that looked like it hurt. You see people get trampled by elephants. Imagine them getting cut down by Yahushua, just stomping them out, just cutting them to shreds, blood and guts everywhere. Go ahead.
And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment. Right,
that's why his garment's no longer white. That's why it looks red like he was stomping the wine. Go ahead.
And I will stain all my raiment.
He said, I'm going to stain all my apparel. Blood stains, right? Go ahead.
For the day of vengeance is in mine heart.
Read.
And the year of my redeemed is come.
Uh-huh.
And I looked, and there was none to help.
So we know that Yahushua is going to be the one to set this off. Because again, if we were capable, if we had the capability to do it, don't you think we would have already did it and got up out of here? But it has to be an order. There's going to be order when this is all. It's going to be I like to say, controlled chaos. Where it's going to look chaotic to some, but the Most High in Christ knows what's going on. And Christ is going to be the orchestrator of all these great things to happen. Go ahead.
And I wondered that there was none to uphold, Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me. In my fury it upheld me.
Go ahead.
And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury. And I will bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention.
That's it on that. So, you know, you don't want to be in this. If you a heathen, you better get your mind right now.
God.
You don't want no part of that, right?
You don't want no part of that butt whooping, because you ain't gonna survive that. So we touched on that, and we got down to, let's see where we ended off. We got down to Nahum, right? And that was talking about, damn, I just skipped it. Yeah, go ahead.
Nahum chapter 1 and verse 13. So once Yahushua, he stomps out Esau, right? This is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna be happening.
Capping on Esau.
Bang, bang.
Go ahead.
Nahum chapter 1 verse 13. For now I break his yoke from off thee, and will burst thy bonds in sunder.
So now this is the Most High. He's delivering us from our captivity. He's delivering this is Yahushua, sorry. He's delivering us from our captivity. When it talks about breaking that yoke, he's taking away the bondage. He's delivering us more.
More?
That's what he's doing. Go ahead.
And the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown. Out of the house of thy gods will I cut off the graven image and the molten image.
So he's taking away anything that exalts itself against the name of the Most High and against Israel. Go ahead.
I will make thy grave, for thou art vowed. Behold, upon the mountains and the feet of him that bringeth good tidings,
Go ahead.
that publisheth peace. O Judah, keep thy solemn feasts, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee.
See, so we're not going to be oppressed by the wicked anymore. We're not going to be oppressed by the rulers of this world anymore. Because Yahushua, he's coming to set everything in order.
God.
Go ahead.
He is utterly cut off.
And what's therein?
He is utterly cut off.
Boom. There it is. Now let's get into the deliverance. Go from there. Go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 16.
And I know we just kind of breezed through it, but again, you guys can catch last class, you know, if you just go right back a few days, we got the last 3 on there.
Yeah, it was Monday.
It was Monday's class. So, and they're titled according to what was, you know, the part 1, part 2, part 3. So where we at?
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 16.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
So this is Yahushua coming down from the fort out of heaven. Go ahead.
With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first.
So now this is going into the deliverance. All right. From there, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 52.
And what it's doing when it's going into the deliverance is showing you about, like it says, the dead in Christ shall rise first. So what's going to happen? Resurrection.
God.
You're gonna have literal dead bodies coming out the graves. You're gonna have literal dead bodies coming up out the graves. Watch, you're gonna read on. It's gonna get into it. Go ahead. Where we at?
1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye.
So this isn't a long period of process. It says in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, quicker than you can blink your eyelids. What's going to happen?
At the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound.
And it says at the last trump. Right now the last trump is the 7th trump, right? Right now we're still in the 6th. Say 6.5. 6 3/4. Trying to push it, right? But we know we're close to that 7th trump. We know we're close to that. So we know that once that 7th trump happens, this is what's going to be happening. This is what we want. This is what we're going to be wanting. Watch, read on.
For the trump shall sound,
Uh-huh.
and the dead shall be raised incorruptible.
The dead shall what?
Be raised incorruptible.
Go ahead.
And we shall be changed.
And we shall be changed. So that twink, guess what's going to happen? The dead is going to be raised incorruptible, but the chosen, the ones that are going to make it to the kingdom, they're going to be incorruptible. They're going to be changed. The Most High is going to, right?
No,
He's
sprinkle, baby.
going to twinkle you, right? He's going to, boom, he's going to put that incorruptible body on you. Go from there and go to Matthew 27 and verse 52. If we're going too fast, let us know.
Matthew.
Got turned for some reason. Got turned, baby.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 52.
Dang on Esau. God.
And the grave were open.
And the what?
And the graves were open.
Come on.
And many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
Yeah, because the one thing we do got to understand is that not every single person is regenerated. You know how we talk about regeneration? Not every single person is regenerated. So, read it again.
And the graves were open.
Uh-huh.
And many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
Right. So, those saints could be any saint. Right? I mean, you got to really think about it, man. Would the Most High regenerate Moses to this wicked-ass world? He probably wouldn't. He probably let him just chill in paradise. Chill in that nice part of Hades until the time comes.
God.
You know, you got to think about Noah. It's like, come on, man. Noah built an ark for 100 years. You think the Most High would come and let him suffer back on this earth? He probably wouldn't. I'm not saying that that's book, but I'm just thinking of if I was the Most High and I seen the wonderful works that Noah did, that Moses did, Abraham. I'm like, man, y'all can chill. Y'all did y'all's job.
Could it also be because they were unmovable and steadfast in their faith also, that the Most High wouldn't?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like y'all were faithful. They were faithful until the end. You know, where did Noah slip at? He didn't. Where did Moses slip? He made one little hiccup, but he got to come back and relive a whole other life to prove that hiccup. I mean, I'm not saying that is book.
Right, because you still had some prophets that did come back.
You do, yeah, you did, but not all.
Right.
I mean, even when you go through, damn, I didn't bring it, Josephus.
Got one.
When you go through the Josephus and it talks about, watch, it talks about when your spirit goes to Hades and you're on that right side of paradise, it tells you that you see the forefathers. Watch this course. It tells you that you see the forefathers. Actually, Josephus discourse 8:13. Let's see if I can find it real quick without taking too much time. Read that scripture one more time.
God, Matthew chapter 27, verse 53.
Uh-huh.
Verse 52. And the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose,
Uh-huh.
and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city.
Right. So it says the saints, right? It says many bodies of the saints which slept arose. So it's not just talking about like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, not just those men, but they were the people that were diligent in the truth. You know, you might have a brother that died doing the work of the truth. And what is he considered? He's a saint. Scripture say the saints of the Most High will take the kingdom. Right? So it's talking about the Israelites that stay faithful. So if I died in the truth tomorrow, hopefully this is me. Hopefully I don't got to be regenerated back to this crap. And Yahushua comes the next day, right? Or hopefully like quickly. And the body is now resurrected. I'm going to read this real quick. Let me see. Let me make sure. I'm in the Josephus, page 13. Beyond that. Yeah, watch. It says, so this is talking about Hades. This is Josephus, Israelite historian, right? This is page 813. Josephus' discourse to the Greeks concerning Hades, which we did a whole class on Hades. Hades is that spiritual realm where you either go to the left, you go to the right, and you're held there for a time, either to be regenerated back to the earth, or you're just held there until the final judgment. So I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, oh man, it's hard to find. Let's see. I'm gonna just read the whole section. It says, for there is one descendant to this region, at whose gate we believe there stands an archangel with an host, which gate, when those pass through that, are conducted down by the angels appointed over souls. They do not go the same way, but the just are guided to the right hand, and are led with him, sung by the angels appointed over that place, unto a region of light, in which the just have dwelt from the beginning of the world. So there are just men that are on this right side of Hades that have been there since the beginning of the world. Okay? Not constrained by necessity, but ever enjoying the prospect of good things they see, and rejoice in the expectation of those new enjoyments, which will be peculiar to every one of them, and esteeming those things beyond what we have here, with whom there is no place of toil, no burning heat, no piercing cold, nor are any barriers there. So it's perfect conditions, right? You can roam around, do your thing. But the countenance of the fathers and of the just, so which they see always, smiles upon them. So there's going to be some of the forefathers are in this place. There's righteous men still in this spiritual realm. So now when it talks about the spirit of the saints, their bodies will rise, it's some of those men also. It's not just only us, but it's some of the patriarchs. Y'all get that, right? Which they see always, smiles upon them, while they wait for the rest and eternal new life in heaven. So Hades is like, if you want to look at it like this, and this is how I kind of break it down. Hades is like a holding cell, and either you go to the left, you go to the right, left, right, paradise, or you go over here and get whooped on a little bit, or a lot of bit. But that's not the eternal fire. You over here getting judged. You over here living good. But this is not the eternal lake of fire, because the judgment hasn't happened yet. But you get reincarnated from this and from this side, and then you come back into new flesh. But what's going to happen is, when Christ comes, there's still going to be spirits down there on both sides. Those spirits are going to be resurrected. Those spirits are going to be resurrected back to the earth in the flesh that they had. Y'all get that, right?
In the flesh that they had?
Yeah. It's not going to be different flesh. They're not going to come back as babies.
Okay.
They're going to resurrect from the grave in whatever flesh that was. You see that? So it's not regeneration, but it's resurrection. Just like Yahushua. When he died, he resurrected back to the same flesh. Right? So that's what this is talking about. So when it says the saints, it's the patriarchs. It's going to be brothers and sisters that stay diligent to the word.
What about I don't want to get off the topic, but what about individuals that get cremated?
That's a good question.
How can they?
That's a good question. I would have to look into that.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing was, cremation wasn't our custom.
Right. That was the Greeks, right?
Yeah, Greeks, Romans. Yeah, you go into like you go all the way back. Yeah, the Greco-Roman days, they would burn bodies.
Yeah.
And because they believed that the bodies went off to the gods, but they had it different. You didn't have to burn the body for the spirit to go. The spirit already left.
Right.
The body said was supposed to return to the dust from which it came. So burial was the way we dealt with things, burying the body. So that's a good question. That's a very good question. Might have to look into that. I like that. But y'all get that point so far, right? Where we at?
Matthew chapter 27, verse 52.
Uh-huh.
And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
Continue.
And came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many.
So now these people who were resurrected, the saints from the left and from the right side, everybody can see it. All right, so this is evident everywhere. All right, from there, go to Daniel chapter 12, verse 2.
You did, Matthew? Oh, you did. Oh, yeah, that's what y'all did.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 2.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake.
Again, so everybody that was dead, that went to their place in holding cells, that didn't get regenerated back into the earth the second time, they're going to awake out of their sleep. Go ahead.
Some to everlasting life.
So and then once the process of judging gets done, then some are going to go into everlasting life. Go ahead.
And some to shame and everlasting contempt.
And some's going back to that left.
Yeah, because when you read Revelations 1 and 9, it says that Yahweh Shai, I'm going to read it real quick. This is why they're going to be shameful, man, because they know they're going to get brought back to be judged for all the filth that they did. But check this out. Revelations 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. So think about it. The ones that pierced him are going to see him, whether it be in that old flesh or that spirit, in a new flesh. But they're going to be ashamed. They're going to be ashamed because they're going to sit back and say, damn, this is who we killed. We killed the Son of God. We killed the Savior of the Israelites. They're going to be in shame.
God.
So read that again.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake.
Right, see, and, I mean, this ain't no symbolic. This is straightforward, to the point, resurrection. So Michael Jackson's Thriller and zombie apocalypse and all that stuff, that's where they get this stuff. That's where they get their narrations of the scripture. That's where they get it from. They get all these different, Thriller and the zombies and all that stuff. They get that from the Bible. Go ahead.
Some to everlasting life.
Uh-huh.
And some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Uh-huh.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
Go to Job 19:25. Watch. Check this out. This Job is cold.
Yeah.
Job chapter 19, verse 25.
Job's gonna tell us right here. Like, bro, I don't want to be reincarnated. Right? And if you don't, a lot of people don't understand Job. When you read Job, he almost makes it seem like there's no such thing as reincarnation or regeneration. But that's not what Job was saying in his writings, because we know there is such thing. Job is not going to contradict Solomon and David for his own agenda. So we know that Job was speaking of just actual death. So watch, read Job 19 and verse 25.
Come, for I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
So that Redeemer is Yahweh Shai. All right?
So, and Job is in what testament?
Old Testament.
Right. So even Job knew about the Redeemer, about the Messiah. Even Job knew it. Because the Most High ain't coming to stay on this damn earth. There's no scripture that says it. The Most High will not come and stand on this earth. How? He said the earth is my footstool. He said heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. So how's he going to come stand on something that's his footstool?
He's too big for that.
Yeah. He said, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. What's he going to do? Like literally stand on top of it? Nah. He's going to be here on earth. Watch. Go ahead.
And though after my skin, worms destroy this body.
Right? Because what happens when you die? You get buried and the worms, right? They come out and they do what?
And through after my skin, worms destroy this body. Yet in my flesh shall I see God.
Yet in my what?
My flesh shall I see God.
He said, even though the skin worms destroy my body, yet in my what?
In my flesh shall I see God.
Go ahead.
Whom I shall see for myself.
Yeah, he said he's going to see God in the flesh, in his flesh. In what flesh? The same flesh that he had. The same flesh that he died with as Job. He's going to see the Most High. He's going to see Yahushua in his flesh. He's going to be clothed with flesh because we know, read it from the top one more time, verse 25.
For I know that my Redeemer liveth,
Uh-huh.
and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
Go ahead.
And though after my skin worms destroy this body.
Right, after I decompose and do the natural thing that a body does in the grave, go ahead.
Yet in my flesh shall I see God.
How's that going to happen? He has to be resurrected. Go ahead.
Whom I shall see for myself,
Uh-huh.
and my eyes shall behold,
Uh-huh.
and not another.
Right, see, he's going to see it for himself, and his eyes are going to behold, not another. Go ahead.
Though my reins be consumed within me.
Yeah, even though when I'm dead in the grave, everything got consumed away. So he's letting us know about resurrection right here. Go to Isaiah 26:19. Are we clear on that? Isaiah 26 and verse 19. How would we treat the other nations? In the new kingdom of God, how will we treat the other nations? I think we answered the same question from the same brother last week, but the way we're going to treat them, we went over that last class. He that leadeth into captivity shall be led into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. So the other nations are going to go into captivity, a righteous captivity. Got to stress that. It ain't going to be no homosexuality. Ain't going to be no buck busting. It ain't going to be none of that.
No Mandingo fights. No.
Yeah, it ain't going to be
going into the slave quarters and raping and ravishing your wives and stuff like that.
Another man's wife and all that.
Yeah.
No. But they are going to go into a bondage. They are going to go into captivity. Because why? They're going to be building our kingdom. They're going to build. They're the ones that's going to build the new kingdom. When you read in Isaiah, it tells you that our gates will be open, and they're going to be bringing in all the forces of the Gentiles to us. It says we shall suck the breast of kings, meaning that we're going to get that nourishment that all these rich nations got, all these bastards, they all got all the best things of the earth. We're going to get these things. So, but they're going to be in servitude under Yahushua and Israel. So the way we treat them, they're going to be under a righteous servitude, building and sweating and bleeding, blood, sweat, and tears. They're going to rebuild our kingdom.
Yeah, we talked about that in it was actually in the part 3, last class, because it was over in Isaiah chapter 60.
Yeah, Isaiah 60, yep. You can read that in Isaiah 60. What else is that? Isaiah 14.
Isaiah
Right.
14, yep.
You can read that in Isaiah 60 and Isaiah 14.
And 66 as well.
Right. So yeah, long story short, they're gonna be our slaves. They're gonna be our slaves. Yes, sir. Believe it or not. Where we at?
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Thy dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in
You
dust.
see that? It says that thy dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Again, just showing about that resurrection in the time of Yahushua. It says the dead in Christ shall rise first. Go ahead.
For thy dew is as the dew of earth.
They that dwell in the dust. So we know the dust is the earth. Go ahead.
For the dew is as the dew of the earth, and the earth shall cast out the dead.
The earth is going to do what?
Cast out the dead.
Yeah, the earth is going to let those bodies resurrect. It's going to cast out the dead. 1 Thessalonians 4:17. So we know that the dead in Christ will rise first. The ones in the grave, they're going to be resurrected. Because they got to get judged too. There got to be a judgment. There has to be everyone's going to be judged. So the dead in Christ will rise first. And then 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 17.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds.
So that's the Most High, that's the angels. We're hitching a ride in the chariots. All right, those people who are still alive, who remain, they're going to be caught up into the chariots. All right, and where are we going? Go ahead.
To meet the Lord in the air.
To where are we going?
To meet the Lord in the air.
Go ahead.
And so shall we ever be with the Lord.
There it is.
Amos chapter 9 and verse 9.
So that's the anointed.
That's
Is that the elect?
what we're gonna read. Watch. It's gonna explain the next scripture. Yeah, the next scripture is gonna explain it. But it is the elect, yes. The chosen. It's the chosen, the 144. Because check this out, Amos 9 and verse 9.
Come. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
Right. So you know when you sift flour, what are you doing? You're sifting the flour apart from all the other strange things that might be in the flour. So he's going to sift us from all the nations. Why? Because you don't have Israelites thinking that they're Egyptian, Israelites thinking that they're Esau, Israelites, like we're going to read in Isaiah, we're scattered. Israel is scattered to the four corners of the earth. So after the elect is delivered up, now he got to sift the rest of Israel. Watch, read on.
Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Go ahead.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Wait, what's going to happen?
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Yeah, so they're getting sifted away from the nations just to die anyway. That's cold, man. It's not what it is. Read on.
Which say the evil shall not overtake nor pervert us.
Prevent us. Read it one more time.
Which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Go to Isaiah 11 and verse 12. So y'all see it so far, right? Do y'all? Con? Okay, just making sure. And I know we're starting at a point where if you were here for the other three, it might be a little bit easier to comprehend right off the bat. So you might have to go back and watch the other three videos. Because right now, again, we're in part 4. We're in the end. So, but it's still pretty straightforward. It's still pretty straightforward. Yahushua is going to come. The dead are going to rise. The chosen are going to be taken up. The other Israel that are scattered amongst the nations, that are scattered throughout the four corners, they're going to be taken. But the sinners are going to be killed. Right? It says killed with the sword. Go to Isaiah 11 and verse 12.
Con. Isaiah chapter 11 verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah.
So this is the Most High. What he's doing is he's showing a sign. He's showing signs and wonders, but at the same time he's removing Israel away from all these other nations. All right, and he said he shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. Right, go ahead.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Because again, you have Judah, you have Israelites who are in the four corners of the earth, talking about them, those other nations. You got Judah in China thinking they're Chinese. You got dark skin. You got Judites in Japan talking that they're Okinawans or they're Japanese when they're Israelites. So the Most High, he's gathering up all his people. Go ahead. Or was that it? Was that it?
Yeah, because again, what was the curse in Deuteronomy? That we would be scattered throughout the four corners, right? So we know that's true because when you go, it don't matter where you go on this earth, there's a black man there. It don't matter where you go, man. You go to Australia, you go to Antarctica, you go to Alaska. It don't matter where you go, there's an Israelite man tucked away somewhere, thinking that he's that other nation.
Oh yeah, in Paris, in French.
Yeah, I mean that's easy. I mean you got a lot of black people just there. I mean like that's easy. Europe and what's that?
So the end sign that Yahushua is going to be setting up for the nations, not Israel, or is that Israel included, or just the nations?
Watch. Read verse 12. Why does he have to set it up for the nations? Why is the nations going to see this end sign? Because Israelites are scattered amongst the nations.
Right, but don't the nations know who they are?
Yeah, but Israel that's scattered amongst the nations don't know who they are.
Right.
So that's why it has to be set up like that. It's just like when we go out and teach, right?
Yeah.
Now, mostly everybody that is on that corner is an Israelite, right? They know that, oh, I'm black, or I'm Hispanic, or I'm this. So when we talk to them, they know like, oh, you're talking to me. But what about the guy that's walking by that thinks that he's white because his mom is white, but his dad is black?
Okay, got it.
You see that? So we set up, right, as a sign, even so the nations even see us. Why though? Is it for the nations? No, it's for the dispersed that are among the nations. Watch, because that's the whole point. Read verse 12 one more time.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together.
Outcasts of Israel, go ahead.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah.
Right, because why? Is every Judite here in America? No, you still got Judah out in Africa. You still got Judites in India, Europe. You got to remember when slavery happened, they didn't take every Israelite to America. They took them to Europe. They took us to India. They took us to Spain. They took us, I mean, the slave trade didn't just go across the Atlantic. It happened on the Western Hemisphere also, where they went from Africa, west coast of Africa, and they went back up around Africa, back into Spain, back into Europe, Britain. They went right into India. So they went to these different places, not just the Atlantic slave trade was just one part of the slave trade. So now you got brothers and sisters that think like, oh, I'm Indian. It's just like you got a lot of brothers in Trinidad. They think that they're Indian, like East Indian. But then, yeah, well, I'm gonna show you why. Because a lot of people in Trinidad, Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, Grenada, they are East Indian. There's a lot of East Indian that migrated from East India into the Caribbean. So, but then when you go back and check the father's lineage, a lot of them are Israelites. You had a brother down there, he thought he didn't know he was an Israelite, and then we broke it down, and he's like, oh, there, he's Judite or Benjamite. Yeah, but his mom was East Indian, but he looks like an East Indian. He looks straight up. Even you remember Gloria? She was like an East. My dad's wife. She was Jamaican, but her family migrated from East India, maybe 4 generations back. So she was born in Jamaica. Her brother was born in Jamaica, but she looked like an East Indian. Like my dad would call her the Indian. That's what he called her, the Indian. I was like, damn, she looks like an Indian. So the outcasts of Israel, those are the Israelites that are scattered. Right. Okay. Right. Edith.
Oh, I was gonna say they even took some slaves from some
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I'm just.
Yeah. They took them. Listen, that's how we know. But that's how we know the 9.5 or the 10 tribes, right? The Hispanics or the so-called Hispanics and natives. That's how we know they're Israelites, because they fit the prophecy. They were. First of all, they took a ship to get here. That's one. Then they got caught up when Columbus ran up on them. How do you think he was getting them from the island of Hispaniola and all those Caribbean islands? How do you think he was getting them to America? He was putting them in slave ships. The same slave ships he used to come from the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Those same little ships that he used those to transport the natives and the Hispanics from Hispaniola and the other surrounding islands all the way into the Americas. And then back to Spain, back to Europe. Because he think he was just going back empty? Nah, he was going back with men and women and children. Mostly children though. Because Columbus was about he started the child sex trade, where he was taking little kids and pawning them off for sex, selling them for sex. So there was a lot of back and forth. These ships weren't coming and going empty. They were coming full and they were leaving full, because every white man needed a damn slave on his plantation. Plantations weren't just in America. They started in the Caribbean though. The slave plantations, they started in the Caribbean. Then they got to the Americas, but they were doing it in Europe, Spain, Britain. They were doing it out there too. India. The Muslims had us as slaves. Come on. That's why any brother that want to be a damn Muslim, I laugh at you. They enslaved you, and you want to be a damn Muslim. Talking about As-salamu alaikum.
You know, it's funny. Me and Mom, we were at the mall, and we met this Judite girl and her brother, and they were born and raised in Germany. Her dad's not in the military, but she's a Judite because when you ask about her father, I guess, you know, and when you go down the lineage, but she's like a second, third generation born in Germany.
Yeah.
But they're Jewish.
Yeah, I got a bunch of family that they live in Britain, and it's funny, they look white, but they're not. They're on the black side. But when you're in Britain and you got black folks, they mingle, they do all that. They were doing that for a long time. And it's funny because they have the features. They have those Negroid, if you want to call it features. They almost look like a Hispanic child that has a Hispanic mom and a black dad. They look like that, but they got white moms, black dads. So, you know, there's a lot of that. They might associate with themselves being Esau, like, we're white.
Yeah, she said she was German, but then when we broke it down,
she's German, right?
Yeah.
I'm British.
Yeah.
I'm Polish. I'm this. I'm that.
And she was like, "Well, but my dad's more nigga than you," because she didn't know the proper way to say it. But
yeah, and she probably had that accent.
Yeah, she did.
Wow. Yeah, but that's the thing. You got Israelites that are in these Middle Eastern countries that don't know that they're Israelites. They think that they're Afghani or Saudi or Iranian or Pakistani. I mean, it's rare. It's rare because they try to keep their bloodline pure, but it's there. A lot of our people are scattered in Egypt and Pathros. When you read verse 11. Watch. When you read verse 11, it tells you Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam. Cush is Ethiopian. Elam is Indian. Pathros is Upper Egypt, Assyria, right? Which is Assyria. So you have, it says Shinar, Hamath, and the islands of the sea. So think about it, you got different islands across Spain. When you go Spain, Italy, that little Mediterranean, what is that? What sea is that? Right above, I forget what sea it is. It's the Mediterranean Sea, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's the Mediterranean. There's islands in there that got Israel. So we've been scattered. You gotta remember, we've been scattered throughout the four corners. So if I've been scattered and I lay down roots generations and generations back, everything that I breed as an Israelite man is going to be an Israelite child. But if I'm in Ireland, right, 15 generations ago, and I'm in Ireland and I never left, and I have children, and they have children, what are they going to tell themselves? That they're Irish.
Right.
They're Irish, and they might even look a little Irish. They might look a little darker, they might be light. They might mingle with an Irish woman, an actual Edomite Irish woman. You see that? And now the kids come out a different color. But that's why, because you do have a lot of people thinking that they're something and they're not. So Yahweh Shai is going to set up the sign, and he's going to gather them, right? He's going to gather them up. So where we at?
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12.
So go to Isaiah 54 and 7.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 7.
Go ahead.
For a small moment have I forsaken thee.
Right. See, that small moment, think about that. We've been forsaken for at least in this recent 450 years. Right? He said, for a small moment I've forsaken you. Because to the Most High, this is a small moment. Go ahead.
But with great mercy will I gather thee.
But with what?
Great mercy will I gather thee.
Right. He's not going to leave us behind. He's not going to let us just dwell amongst these nations. He's going to gather us up. He's going to sift us among the nations. He's going to sift us out. When you sift something, you separate it. So he's going to pull us out, because the thing is, he'll know who's Israel and he'll know who's not. Like when you read in Matthew, is it Matthew 13 where it says the reapers, the wheat and the tare? And it said the angels are the reapers. You got to remember, the angels are moving around doing their thing. So they know who's Israel, the Spirit bear witness. So they know who's Israel and who's not. Y'all get that, right? So they going to be like, oh, Israelite, let's get him. Israelite, let's get him. It don't matter how they look. You're going to be standing next to the most palest person you've ever seen. Milk of Magnesia part 30. Like, and then what you going to say? How the hell they belong here? They're not dark enough to be, they're too light to be on the chart. Ain't going to be no need for no chart then, bruh. Right. Because why? The Most High knows who's his. It ain't going to matter about skin tone, eye color, hair color. You're going to see some of the most blonde-haired, blue-eyed people standing next to you. And you're going to be like, wow, that's an Israelite. Because it shows you, Isaiah 11. Don't judge by the sight of your eyes or the hearing of your ears, but judge righteous judgment. Judge through the Spirit. Where we at? Go to Psalms 106 and verse 47. Psalms 106 and verse 47.
Psalm chapter 106, verse 47. Save us, O Lord, our God, and gather us from among the heathen.
Because this is David, he's understanding that Israel is still dispersed. Even when he was in rulership, when Solomon was in rulership, Israel was still everywhere. We didn't just reside in one area. He's saying, gather us from among the heathen. Go ahead.
To give thanks unto thy holy name.
Go ahead.
And to triumph in thy praise.
Any questions?
Jump down to verse 35 real quick. This is why we got to get taken from the heathen. Let's jump down to verse 35 real quick.
But we're mingled among the heathen.
What happened to Israel?
But we're mingled among the heathen.
Yeah, because we were mingled amongst the heathen. Go ahead.
And learned their works.
And we learned their works. So now we got to be taken away from the heathen. Now we got to be pulled away. So save us, O Yahweh, our power, and gather us from among the heathen, to give thanks unto thy holy name, and to triumph in thy praise. Jeremiah 31 and verse 10.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 10. Hear the word of the Lord.
If we're going too fast, slow us down. What's that?
What was the last scripture in Psalm?
Did I say? 106, Psalms 106, 35?
Okay, 106, 35.
Yeah. That you can read like that whole 106, 35. That whole 106 is very nasty. If you read 106, 35 down, it shows you what we was doing. We got mingled. It said we sacrificed our kids unto their gods. We let them pass through the fire. Yeah, if you read that, that's a good chapter. It's a good little bit of reading. Jeremiah 31 and verse 10.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 10.
So you see where we're at, right? Y'all get where we at, where the deliverance, the Most High, Yahweh Shai, through Yahweh Shai, he comes down, destroys the nations, destroys Esau, pulls us from out of the remnant of the nations, and there's a reason for it. Because we all got to be judged. The dead in Christ, they rise, and the others, they go up in the clouds, the chariots, right? The 144, they go up in the clouds with the Most High. But then everybody else is still being pulled. All the ones that think that they're Israel, right, that are scattered throughout the four corners, they got to be saved also. Go ahead.
Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him.
You see that? He said, ye nations, hear the word, ye nations, and the isles afar off. He said, he that scattered Israel will gather him. Go ahead.
And keep him as a shepherd doeth his flock.
Right, so he's going to gather us back in. So don't lose hope, don't lose faith. You know, again, a lot of us, there's a lot of Israel that don't know that they're Israel. But they're going to be gathered. Zephaniah 3:18. Yeah, this has all this is because none of this has happened yet.
Right. And what and that last thing that you just said, that reminds me, just because we just read it in Amos 9:9. It said, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Right. So we always talk about it, but I always think about the story of David when he was talking to Saul before he went to go slay Goliath, right?
I was just reading that.
Yeah, David was talking to Saul about how he was a shepherd and that how he had to encounter a lion and how he encountered a bear. Now a shepherd's keeping watch over a flock, right? More than one sheep, correct? Con. So he still treated the two that strayed off and that were endangered just as important as the rest of the flock. So the Most High, if David's like that, who followed after Yahushua, how much more Yahushua? So he's going to go to all these nations and make sure all his people are gathered up together. That's why he's telling the whole nations, listen, you guys got to pay attention. Because I'm coming for my people. I'm coming for my sheep. Now you can do this peaceably, or you can get a piece of this ass whooping. But either way, my people are going to get God. And that's what's going on. Because when you finish reading that story of David,
we go offline?
When you finish reading that story of David, he talked about how he smote the lion, how he smote the bear. The Most High, Yahushua, he's going to hit these nations. He's going to hit these nations and he's going to gather his people. That word's not going out void. Con?
Either way, they will be gathered. The reapers will reap.
Hell yeah.
The angels will reap. The angels are going to reap the lost of Israel. Right. The ones that are scattered.
Right, because like in his word, in Quatizam's words, think about it. No, think about it. Because if you got a massive giant angel entity standing in front of you, and he's like, I come for you, who's gonna stop this angel? Nobody. They've already fired their weapons, they already shoot their nuclear blasts and yada yada yada, and nothing's working. What are they gonna do? There's nothing they can do. So and then he's gonna point at you, listen, you, come with me. You can go kicking and screaming, you can go on your feet.
You probably just gonna get beamed up, who knows?
Either or.
Probably just gonna get beamed, took him. You ain't even gonna have a chance to even agree or disagree. You just gonna disappear off the earth.
All right.
Where we at?
Zephaniah chapter 3.
Zephaniah 3:18.
Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 18.
Uh-huh.
I will gather them that are sorrowful from the solemn assembly.
Uh-huh.
Who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden.
Go ahead. So he's saying that he's going to, in short words, he's gathering Israel. Watch, read on.
Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee.
I will do what?
Undo all that afflict thee.
Yeah, all these nations, they afflicted us. He said, I'm going to undo them. I'm going to break them up. What's that?
So it says that he's going to gather the sorrowful.
Right?
So
who are the sorrowful?
That would be
Judah mourneth and the gates thereof languish. Who's the sorrow? Who's in sorrow right now?
Israel.
Right. Yeah. So that's what it's talking about. I will gather them that are sorrowful from the solemn assembly, who are of thee, speaking of Israel, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Who was always reproached? It was Israel.
It was always burdened.
Go, read verse 19.
Behold, at the time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that held thee, and gather her that was driven out.
Right, because we were scattered through the four corners. Go ahead.
And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
Right.
Oh, because everywhere we go, what are we? We're that reproach. We're that byword. I quote it all the time. Deuteronomy chapter 20, 28, verse 37. We're made a proverb. We're made a byword. We're that shame word that everywhere we go, we're called a nigga, spook, spit.
Anything but Israel.
Anything but an Israelite, right? Yeah. So that's the one who's the ashamed.
Right. So he said, I would basically every land that we were put to shame, he's gonna make us a praise. He's gonna give us back our glory. So think about it. In every country in the world, a black man is known as a nigga. There is the nigga word for a black man in every country, in every language. Whether they call you black or nigga, it's there. He said, you're not gonna no longer be ashamed in these lands or a shameful thing. I'm gonna make you that praise. Watch, read verse 20.
At that time I will bring you again, even in the time that I gather you.
Did I do what?
Gather you.
Go ahead.
For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth.
Why? Because they're going to know that he's gathering his people. The whole earth is going to know that Yahushua is back to gather his nation. So, wouldn't that be a glorious thing? Right? It says when the people are, when the true worshipers are back in the land, the whole earth is at peace. It says the trees will rejoice. So they're gonna say, okay, wow, it's really happening. The earth is going to be set back into its proper course. Go ahead.
When I turn back your captivity.
When I do what?
When I turn back your captivity.
Go ahead.
Before your eyes, said the Lord.
Jeremiah 29:14. So he's going to turn back our captivity. He's going to break the yoke, like he said back in Zephaniah. You got to remember, Deuteronomy 28:68. It said, you will be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy thee. No one is going to redeem us but Yahushua. No man. That's why you have all your Dr. Martin Luther Kings, Malcolm X's, Huey P. Newtons, right? Who you got today? Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Well, yeah, they still on the scene. I mean, they was at little Aretha Franklin's wedding, all gawking over Ariana Grande, right? Huh?
Funeral.
Or funeral. Yeah, what did I say?
Wedding.
Oh, I said Aretha Franklin's wedding? Aretha Franklin's funeral. They was there. They make sure they show their face. Uncle Tom's, man. Nobody want them around, but that's the point. They try to even save blacks. They try to save black people, Hispanics, and they failed. Because all they did was just fall into the trap and sell out. Al Sharpton done sold out. Jesse Jackson really sold out. Even Jesse Jackson's son, he got locked up. He got locked up for a little bit. He tried to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat or something like that. Back when Obama was going to become president, something crazy out in Chicago that he was doing, some scandal. But they ain't for the people. They ain't gonna be able to redeem us. So the only one that could change and reverse our captivity and give us a good name is the Most High in Christ. Go to Revelations. Jeremiah 29:14.
Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 14. And I will be found of you, said the Lord. And I will turn away your captivity.
Go ahead.
And I will gather you from all the nations.
From where?
From all the nations.
Right. We got to be gathered from all nations because we're scattered in all nations. Come on.
And from all the places whither I have driven you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Said the Lord. I will bring you again into the place which I caused you to be carried
verse 8. So while the righteous are being beamed up, the wicked are going to burn. While the righteous are being beamed up in the chariots in the clouds, the wicked will burn. So we'll go to Revelations 21 and verse 8.
Revelation chapter 21 verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone.
So these are the people who aren't going into the kingdom, apparently.
Apparently, that's a big fact.
This isn't just Esau. This is all nations. The Most High. We read back in part 1, part 2 that the Most High, He's going to start with His people first, but this is what's going to happen to the rest of the world as well. Read that again.
But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers.
So the people who are murderers, the people who are abominable, the whoremongers, the people who lived lavishly, who took their pleasure and their fill in this life, saying there is no God, who blaspheme the name of the Most High. Go ahead.
And murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers.
And the sorcerers, people who partook in all these other, who partook in religion.
And necromancy.
And witchery.
Witchcraft.
And what is it? Bruja. And the voodoo.
The voodoo, the obia. Fortune telling.
Palm reading, yeah, all that.
Sorcery. Go ahead.
And idolatry.
And the people who worship the creature instead of the creator. The people who put everything before the Most High. Whether it be, man, there's 41,000 different types of just Christianity alone. That's idolatry. Every song, every Christian song you hear is about praise Christ, praise Christ. The Most High said, praise the Most High. Every time He blessed somebody, He said, don't thank me. Why callest thou me good? Mark chapter 10 and verse 18. He said, there is no man good except the Father which is in heaven.
God.
And now you got Christianity always wanting to, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. No, thank the Most High. Barakatah Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. Right? Khan. You can't commit idolatry. These people don't deserve to be in the kingdom. Go ahead.
And all liars?
We just did a class, what was it? Last week about liars, right? Yeah, these people, what was it? 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 9. These people will not inherit the kingdom. What will they inherit? They will inherit a lake that's continually burning. That's what they're going to inherit.
Right, because what's happening here, see, the final judgment is going to happen. So there is going to be that lake of fire that everybody, like the Jehovah's Witnesses try to act like ain't going to be there. Like all of a sudden, like the Bible says it is there, and then like, since they reprinted the Bible, it ain't going to be there no more. Nigga, please. That burning ass fire is going to be there. And if you wicked as hell, if you one of these people idolatrous, if you are abominable, think about it. If you are homosexual, you got to look at it like this, man. If the nations are going to rebuild the kingdom, or be in the kingdom as servants, this kingdom on earth as servants. I mean, I don't want no murderous nation amongst me. Is every single one of the Esau or the nations, are they all just wicked out their minds? Nah, they all ain't all just on pedophilia and homosexuality. They're not all about that. But the ones that are done. They ain't making it. You're not gonna be my servant. I don't want you around.
Right.
Going back to what you said about how how they changed the wording of the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw you off, but do you know that scripture that says even though they say it's not true, it's still gonna happen? I think it's in Matthew, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I'm probably throwing you off with my wording, but it's like the people that don't believe doesn't mean that it's not the Most High is.
Do we make
not true.
Do we make the word of the Most High void through unbelief?
Something like that.
God forbid, it's Romans.
Oh, that's in Romans.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Romans Read it real quick. Oh, okay. We'll find it. I'll look for it.
Okay.
But go ahead. Where we at?
Revelations chapter 21, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And idolaters and liars shall have their part in the lake.
We're going to be where?
Shall have the part in the lake which burneth.
Yeah. Even liars. Y'all think that lying ain't a big deal? Lying is a big deal to the Most High. Liars, idolaters, whoremongers. So all you dudes running around trying to poke and stick everything. You're not trying to take a wife. You're just out here just trying to jab. Trying to dip your little dipstick. Trying to dip your biscuit into the tea. You better trying to have crumpet and tea. Trying to dip your biscuit. You better chill. Because it says it, a whoremonger. Men are whoremongers. So think about it. If a whoremonger ain't going to make it, is a whore going to make it? Hell no. All you women running around letting everything dip into you. Letting everything dip, right? Every little Tom, Dick, and Harry is dipping his stick. You better stop it. You better stop it because you ain't going to make it. Go ahead.
Which burneth with fire and brimstone.
It does what?
Burn with fire and brimstone.
2 Peter 3 and verse 9. So, and it says, which is the second death. Which is the second death. Because now this is that spirit being tormented for eternity. It's your spirit being tormented for eternity. Think about that. You're just going to be sitting in a lake of fire just burning and feeling it. Damn. Eat. Not what I'm looking forward to. 2 Peter 3 and verse 9.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
Go ahead.
As some men count slackness, but as long suffering.
Right, because see, the problem with the wicked is that, and we talked about this earlier in the class, they like, man, bring it on. When is it going to happen? But see, they're not understanding that the Most High is long suffering. And see, their problem is, since it's not happening right away, they're not getting struck down with lightning and fire ain't coming from the sky and killing them. Like the scriptures say, it's set in the hearts of men to do wickedly. Since judgment is not executed expediently, it's set in the hearts of men to do wickedly. But the Most High is not slack. He gonna get that ass. Right? He gonna get you.
Right, because when you look up that word slack, right, it says having or showing laziness or negligence. So the Most High, he's not ignorant or oblivious to what you've done or what you're doing.
Yep.
Just because you still breathing and you committing your whoredom or your idolatry or whatever it is you're doing, he doesn't forget. There's angels, there's 24 angels giving you an account and a record 24 hours of the day of what you're doing. He's just full of mercy, like the brother said, he's full of mercy and long suffering. He doesn't want death upon you. He doesn't want to whoop the butt, but guess what? He's quick to do it.
I think you wanted Romans chapter 3 and verse 3, Haroon. I'll read it real quick. It says, what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Is that it?
You said Romans what?
3 and 3.
3 and 3. Okay. I appreciate it.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Yep. You can do that one. You can also do there's one in Psalms. This is not part of the class. Psalms 14 and 1. God.
Yeah, I didn't want to throw you off.
No, you're good. These are not part of the class. He was asking for a separate question. Psalms 14 and 1 also.
Okay.
Yeah. Where we at?
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9.
Come on.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to.
Go ahead.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
So how is this day going to come?
As a thief in the night.
So wait, everybody's going to be ready for it, right?
As a thief in the night.
So nobody knows the time when the Most High is coming, when Yahushua is coming. Nobody. He's coming as a thief in the night. How does a thief rob a house? Does he do it in broad daylight when everybody's home? Does he do it when everybody's awake and everybody's...
Some do. Some do.
If they're not aware, come on.
You know, but the point is, he's coming undetected. You ain't gonna know when.
He's coming undetected. Like
yeah, a thief in the night. He just shows up and he's gone. All of a sudden, your goods are taken. You wake up, the big screen is gone off the wall. Like, damn, how they get that? You wake up, the car's out the garage. Everything is just gone. Rummage through.
You look at a mastermind thief. They're plotting. They're plotting when to come up on you, when to creep up on you, when to catch you slipping. They know Friday night you get your paycheck. You gonna go cash your paycheck. Then what? You gonna hit the mall. You gotta go buy you some gear. You gotta go buy that Freakum outfit. You gotta go get them tennis shoes, right?
They go get them dressed.
They go get them dressed.
Freakum dress.
The Freakum dress. You gotta get them J's that gonna get the haze, right? You gonna get the J's that get the haze, and then what? Your house, your possession, it's unwatched. Your house, it's defenseless. But what is your house? It's your spirit. God, your mind's preoccupied with everything else except what's your possession and the defense for your possession, the defense for your mind, for your spirit. So then, when you out getting your J's, when you out at the booty club, at the boom boom room, when you out trying to holler at little thoughts, right? God. When you playing the hormone girl, when you playing the hoe, whichever way it goes, that's when your house gets robbed. Oh yeah, this nigga ain't home. Listen, it's Saturday night. You know they at the club. Let me roll up to that house. The lights are off. Hey, you just break this down, knock this door open. Ain't nobody home. There's no alarm. We got all day. We can rummage and get all what we want. That's how the Most High is coming. That's how Yahushua is coming.
Yeah, because it did say that in the last days they'll be in the days of Noah. They'll be marrying and giving into marriage. They'll be partying, eating, drinking.
Right.
So while you partying, eating, and drinking, Yahushua is going to come down like a thief in the night. Go ahead.
And in the which the heaven shall pass away with a great noise. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
What's going to happen?
The elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Go ahead. We talked about that. All that nuclear destruction. That's going to be all these bombs. So this is recapping real fast what's happening in this end day. Go ahead.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
You see that? Go ahead.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. Yeah, what manner?
Think about it. I wouldn't want to be around this. The earth is going to be dissolved. Now, not the whole, listen, the whole earth is not just going to be one big fire. Because then how will we reestablish a new kingdom? But there is going to be destruction. There is going to be destruction. Things are going to get burnt up. Go ahead.
What manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
What verse you at?
Verse 11.
Revelation 6 and 13. So we know there's going to be burning, fire, death, destruction, big black angels, a big black Christ, killing, saving. There's going to be killing, saving. It's going to be death, destruction, dead rising. Come on, man. It's going to be, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine all that chaos, all that commotion going on, and it's like all you can do is just wet yourself. That's all you can do is just, like it says, your waters will be like, your knees will be like puddles of water, and your hands will be faint. That's what the scriptures say. Your knees will be weak, right?
Yeah, you can't do a damn thing about it, bro. That's the scary part.
You can't do anything about it. All the control you thought you had, you can't even control your bowels. Think about that. Go to Revelation 6:13.
Con. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Where did you go?
Read verse 13 again.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth.
Hold on. Go here real quick. Go to my little Revelations breakdown. Revelations what? Revelations. Damn. Yeah, a lot of these revelations are breakdowns. 6. Read it one more time.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs.
Right, so the stars of heaven is talking about all your celebrities. All they're doing what? What are all the celebrities? What's happening?
You're dying.
They're doing what?
Dying.
They're dying because we know that the stars don't fall, right? The scriptures say the stars will never fail. So that goes into your celebrities, all your noted individuals, they're passing away. Go ahead.
Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
Right, that's that heaven, that scroll is the mushroom cloud from the nuclear bombs being dropped. Go ahead.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Right, and that's what's going to happen. The mountains, islands, they're going to be disrupted. They're going to be moved around because why?
Drop a blast.
Yeah, when you drop a nuke and it hits islands, it's going to sink some of these islands. When you hit mountains, what's going to happen? The mountains are going to cave in.
They disintegrate.
They're going to disintegrate. Go ahead. Where you at?
Con, verse 15.
So you read 14? Right?
And
That's it. That's it on that. That's all we needed on that one. Go to Zechariah 14 and 12.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
So this is that nuclear destruction. This is that blast that it was talking about in Revelations chapter 6 and verse 14. That's moving the mountains. That's sinking the islands. It said men would be. It said they would be consumed away while they're standing on their feet. Go ahead.
And their flesh shall.
And their eyes
shall consume away in their holes.
Why? Because that fervent heat.
Oh yeah.
That nuclear blast. You know, listen. Y'all seen the shows. You cannot stand up against no nuclear destruction.
Oh, you see a house. I was watching that today on the History Channel. You see these houses disintegrate. Look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh, come on. That place got leveled. I'm talking about
100,000 people died from Hiroshima, and it was like 97,000 people in Nagasaki.
Well, you got to see the land after it was done.
Oh, it looked like a crater.
And then nothing around it. That's the thing. All the buildings, everything. So imagine the people. They got melted. They literally melted away.
Yeah, you got bodies, merged with metals and material because of how hot it was.
The fervent heat. Go ahead.
Con, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
Go to Zechariah 13 and 8. This is that end time, man. This is what's going to be happening. It's all simultaneous, but it's showing you, as you can see how the class is going, it goes back into and it just gives a recap. Yahushua is going to ascend, and then this is what's going to happen with these people. When he ascends, this is what's going to happen with the wicked. When he ascends, this is what's going to happen with the righteous. So y'all get that, right? Go to Zechariah 13 and verse 8.
Come, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord,
right?
2 parts therein shall be cut off.
Right, so the 2 parts, 2/3 of Israel is going to be cut off. We dealt with the 1 part, or the 1/3, that was Esau, right? But 2/3 of Israel are going to be cut off. Go ahead.
2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
And what?
And die.
Go ahead.
But the 3rd shall be left therein.
Right, the chosen are going to be left. Go ahead. They're going to be the ones caught up in the clouds.
And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire.
Yeah, we're going to get through all the nuclear destruction. All the bombs are going to be dropping. Bombs over Baghdad. Right? And we're going to be able to get beamed up and look down and say, damn, America's catching it. America's going to be getting bombed while this country's hitting it. What's that?
So 14 and 12, that's specific destruction just to the nations.
And this will be a plague. 14 and 12. Zechariah. Is that where we're at right now?
We're in 13 and 8, but 14 and 12.
Let's see.
Zechariah.
And this shall be a plague wherein.
That nuke.
And this shall be the plague wherein the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Yeah. All the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Those are the other nations.
So is that going to happen first?
Yeah, they're gonna be destroyed. If you watch the other class, they're gonna catch it first. The wicked is gonna be punished first.
That was the other day. The
The
last
second one, right? So now let's just recap it. It's almost like a recap.
Okay.
So yeah, they're gonna get burnt up, and then now we deal with Israel. 2/3 of Israel is gonna be killed. Go ahead. So as you can see, some parts are kind of reiterating.
Yeah, because we talked about that too.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the last class.
Right.
We were talking about like animals would be just running around.
Right.
And they would be used to like
Vengeance.
Vengeance, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is
You see
refined.
that twinkling, that twink in the twinkle of an eye that we read earlier? There's going to be that refining. Go ahead.
And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name.
Go ahead.
And I will hear them. I will say, it is my people.
It is my what?
My people.
Go ahead.
And they shall say, the Lord is my God.
Revelations 18 and verse 8. So he's going to try us as gold is going to be tried. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 8.
Come. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day.
And how long?
One day.
Go ahead.
Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her.
Read verse 9.
And the kings of
So
the earth.
the plagues of death, destruction, the famine, it's going to come in one day.
It says the morning.
The morning, right? The famine, shall be utterly burned with fire. That's going to happen in a day. Read verse 9.
Come. And the kings of
So
the
what
earth.
is it? So what is it talking about? What is it talking about in verse 8? It's talking about a country. What's that?
So is that day like our day, or is that day like?
Yeah, that's our day.
1,000 years? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not going to take years. Destruction ain't going to take years. That destruction is going to be, like I said, a day. All flying around.
Say within an hour.
Yeah. It's going to go back and say within an hour. Watch, read on.
It says,
Verse 9.
and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication,
Right?
and lived deliciously with her, shall be well heard.
Right. So what it's talking about here is America is going to be getting burnt up. America is going to be getting burnt up, and all the other nations that, like I said, live deliciously, right? All the little allies, the fake Israelites and all that. All these countries that live deliciously with her, that took part of her fornication, like when they sent Obama over to all these countries, like, yeah, if you don't become a homosexual inviting nation, then we're going to set embargoes on you and things like that, and they did it. All these other countries that live deliciously, they shall bewail her. Go ahead.
And lament for her.
What were you going to say?
When they shall see the smoke of her burning.
They're going to see the what?
The smoke of her burning.
Watch, read verse 10.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment.
Come on.
Saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon.
That what?
That great city Babylon.
Come on.
That mighty city. For in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
You see that? In 1 hour is thy judgment coming. So we know that this is Babylon. America is Babylon the Great. All the confusion, all the homosexuality, all the fornication, all the whoredoms, they all come from this country. They all come from America. Let me see something here real quick. Where we at? 18?
18:4.
Yeah, I was about to jump down. Stop it.
No, I pull that all the time.
Watch. Go to Revelations 18 and verse 2.
No.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice.
Go ahead.
Saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Is fallen and is become the habitation of devils.
Right, because is this not the habitation of devils? Go ahead.
And the hold of every soul, of every foul spirit.
Right, this is where all the filth and foulness starts. America is like the perpetuation of just filthiness.
What other country can you go to go get go get your sex changed?
Oh, well, you can go to Brazil, you can go to Thailand.
But I mean, what's big on it, though?
Oh, yeah. America.
America.
They start these things.
They're the trendsetters in
filth.
In filth, what you say?
Foulness. Go ahead.
And in cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Go ahead.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So everybody's been influenced. When it says for all nations have drunk of her wine, that means everybody's tasted a part of what America has to offer, and they're being influenced to follow in that same method. That's why you got you got in America you got the transsexuals, but then in Brazil they glorify that. In the Filipino countries, they magnify that so good at an early age that you couldn't even tell if a boy who's 5 years old was a boy or a girl, because they started off at an early age. Here you gotta wait until you're 18, you get a parental consent. Hell no, they start you off fresh out the womb as a transsexual, as a tranny.
Oh, they do it so good in these other countries now, though. You can't even. I mean, they do it so good here. It's like, I need you to come with some kids before I can talk to you to make sure you're a woman, because they got these transsexuals, man, these transgender. Bro, they start them early as hell, and they start them so early and they migrate them into the system so well. Listen, man, it'd be hard to tell. You need more than a birth certificate. They lie on that. Chick gotta come with kids. 3 of them.
Stretch marks.
Yeah, she gotta have stretch marks and all just to prove like that you a woman, because it's getting to that point, man. It is so filthy, but it's all to throw us off and to get us caught up in negative. Read on.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her
delicacies.
Delicacies.
Right. So then when you jump down, it talks about how it's going to be destroyed. Yeah, you see that? Wow. Look at that. It's terrible.
Dang.
I'm just looking at the image she put up. Little boy, transgendered all the way, and it looks like a perfect girl. You'll never be able to tell. Go to, where we at now? So y'all understand that, right?
God.
So now we get into the judgment. All men being judged. Ezekiel 20 and verse 33. Oh yeah, we definitely gonna get to this. Trying to make sure we get through this so we can end it. Ezekiel 20 and verse 33.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33.
So now we get into after everything is being destroyed, or while everything's being destroyed, the Most High is beaming up and sifted Israel from the nations. The wicked are getting cut with the sword. There got to be a judgment. So what is he going to judge us out of? The law, the books. The books will be open. Watch, read Ezekiel 20 and verse 33.
Come. Verse 23.
33. I'm sorry.
As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
So he's not coming peaceably. Yahushua is not coming peaceably with flowers and daisies in his hand. He said he got stretched out hands with a strong,
mighty hand.
Mighty
Coming
hand.
a pimp slap.
You know what I mean?
Powder on his hand.
Somebody said they wanted to get the hands. Guess what? I brought the hands. I brought both of them.
I brought the hand.
I brought, oh, you know, right? That's right.
Go
I
ahead.
brought the hands. Pimp hand.
Read on.
And I will bring you out of the people, and I will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Right. So this isn't a might. He's saying he will. This isn't something to question. Like, well, you think he'll remember me? You think he'll see? Hell yeah, you right there. Get your ass on. You come here. You come with me. He said, I will bring you and I will gather you out of what? Out of the what? Out of the countries wherein
you gotta stay with
ye are scattered.
You gotta stay with us. We know you're the only reader, but pay attention. Go ahead.
With a mighty hand.
With the strong hand, with the pimp hand, right? Because he's coming with the heat. Go ahead.
And with a stretched out arm.
And with a strong arm. He ain't coming with just a hand. He got a strong arm. He got forces. He got reinforcements of the forces. He got the forces of the forces with the forces. Go ahead.
And with fury poured out.
And he's coming with some anger.
Wait, with love poured out?
With fury poured out.
Wait, with hugs, kisses, rainbows, and bubblegum?
Fury poured out.
Come on.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Go ahead.
And there will I plead with you.
He's not. When he said he's coming to plead with you, he's not coming to beg. He's not coming to reason.
Like, oh, my son, I need you to be good.
Well, let's do this 50-50.
Repent, my son.
Well, I just wanted, I gathered you.
Like, I beseech you, brethren.
My son, my
holy and anointed.
My fellow brother.
My fellow brethren. I need
no.
you to repent.
He said when he's coming to plead with you, he's coming to lay down the law, and he's telling you what it is, and this is what you're gonna do, or you're gonna get this.
Yeah, he's not gonna be like, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of myself. He's gonna be like, listen, nigga, get in order or die. That's it. That's the pleading. It ain't gonna be like Yahushua is coming out to beg nobody.
This isn't no negotiation. This isn't no 50-50, no reasoning. Well, I know you're busy, and I'm sorry I pulled you out of the countries that you were in, and you were living a good life. But I was just wondering, could you follow me and the rest of the elect and see if you feel good, comfortable about that? Hell no.
With that same voice, read on.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness.
Read verse 35.
And because how did he plead?
Read verse 35.
Okay, go ahead.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Uh-huh.
And there I will plead with you face to face.
Right, I'm going to plead with you face to face. Now read verse 36.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers.
And how did he plead with
this
the
guy
fathers?
Stole my question. How did he plead with the fathers? Go ahead.
How did he plead with Israel back in Egypt?
Back in the wilderness.
In the wilderness, when they came out
of Egypt. How did he plead with us? He burned us up, killed us.
Come on, we read that every Sabbath class. Look at all the people who died who went up against Moses. Korah and Dathan. The 2,000 that murmured against him, and the next day after Korah and Dathan, and 500 people died. Then the next day when 21,000 people died after that. How did he plead with How did he plead with our fathers then? You think you think his plea is going to be any different from then to now? Hell no.
Hell no.
He's going to remind you, listen, I killed 75,000 people in 3 days. What do you got to say? What are you going to rebel against? What are we going to plead? What are we going to come to some understanding with? You're going to do this, you're going to catch up, or you're going to get lost.
But this time it ain't going to take like no days. It ain't going to be like Moses, go talk to the people, thus saith the Lord.
Hell no, this is like, what I got to say.
It's going to be action right then and there. You're going to plead with you, get right, make sure you stay right. If not, you're done. You want to murmur? Oh man, I don't like the ship they took me up in. I don't like the chariot. My chariot was too small. Ah!
You know what? Bring this dude before me. Bam, off with him.
You know what that shows you? You know what that shows you? That even after we're delivered and he pulls us out of the nations, it's still gonna be some rebels.
Still gonna be some niggas.
Still gonna be rebels in Israel and murmurers and backbiters and backtalkers, thinking that they gonna backtalk Yahushua.
Some complainers.
Complaining, thinking you're gonna complain because the chariot was too small. It was too packed up in here. It wasn't. The AC wasn't all right.
Where was your chariot at?
Where was your chariot at?
Where was
I was saving the people. Where was your chariot at?
Aside from Yahushua, who was your deliverer?
Right.
Because last time I checked in Deuteronomy chapter 30, 28 and verse 68, it said, no man shall buy you. That's a Quaker word. That means no man's going to save you. Where was your Savior at, aside from me? That's what Yahushua is going to say. But there's still going to be some cockroaches there. There's still going to be some sideways people trying to act like this ain't good enough. They're going to complain about the condition that they're in. Right? You better pray to God that ain't going to be you. Come on, go ahead.
Like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
We just touched on that. How did he plead with the people in Egypt?
The fathers in the wilderness. We talked about it. It was a lot of death. It was a lot of murmuring. You die. Backbite. You die. Unfaithful. You die. Think about the story when the Most High told them to gather the manna, and he said, "Don't gather more than you need. Gather for that day." And what did they do? They gathered, tried to store it up under the bed, and what did it do? It rotted away. Think about when they murmured about, oh, all we have is this manna to eat. And it said as soon as they bought it, they bit it, they died with the flesh between their teeth. But it ain't gonna be like that.
They got the story in the Josephus where they had to go through this mountain range, and they were surrounded by all these serpents on the ground. And all they had to do was keep their eye on the staff that Moses held up on their head. Above his head. That's all they had to do was follow that, not look down. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Keep your eye on the staff that Moses is holding, and walk down the path. You have people looking down all the time, and as soon as they did, they got hit with the serpent, then they died. Thousands.
And this is how we know that it ain't gonna be the time for this. Ain't no negotiation. We're gonna read it. You can read it in the Apocrypha also. You can read it in the Apocrypha, 2 Ezra 7:38. You got it? But we're going to take it to the annotated. 738, page 1691. 2 Ezra 7 and verse 33. Excuse me. We're going to read it out of the annotated Bible and Apocrypha. All it does is just, in some things it uses more edifying words. So it uses different wording. Same meaning, different wording. Read that. Okay. 2 Ezra 7 and verse 33.
2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 33.
Go ahead.
The Most High shall be revealed on the seat of judgment.
On the what?
On the seat of judgment.
Yeah, there's going to be judgment. This is judgment day. Go ahead.
And compassion shall pass away.
Yeah, this ain't going to be no compassion. Like, I'm going to have compassion on you because you messed up, my son.
Says shall pass away.
Compassion is gone. Just pleading face to face, the time of compassion is over. You had that time. It's now. Your compassion is now. The Most High is showing you compassion now for not destroying us, for all the wicked thoughts we get, for all the wicked things that we do, all the slothful double-mindedness. He's giving us compassion now, the grace. Go ahead.
And patience shall be withdrawn.
Yeah, that long suffering, that's gone. That long suffering that the Most High has with us, gone, finished, done. Go ahead.
Only judgment shall remain.
Only what?
Judgment shall remain.
It's the time of judgment. Read.
Truth shall stand.
And you're going to have to deal in the truth. The truth is going to be the only thing that you can stand up against. That's what your works are going to be measured against. Go ahead.
And faithfulness shall grow strong.
Go to John 5:22. St. John 5:22. Did you read verse 34? We did. Right, so this time in the wilderness, as he pleased with us, it ain't going to be the time of compassion and long suffering. This is the time of judgment and truth. What was true, what was false, who was faithful to the cause, who was double-minded and who wasn't, who got faint-hearted and feeble-kneed and who didn't. Go ahead, St. John 5:22.
St. John chapter 5 verse 22. For the Father judgeth no man.
But who?
But the Father judgeth no man.
Right, so we know that it ain't going to be the Most High that's judging. When it says God here, it's talking about Yahweh Shai.
The power.
The power. Go ahead.
But hath committed all judgment unto the Son.
He has done what?
Committed all judgment unto the Son.
Right, so when he said, when you go back to Ezekiel 20 and 33, and he says, as I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm. Then he jumps down and says, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face. That's Yahweh Shai. It ain't the Most High. The Most High is not going to be doing this.
But in this one, 22, that's the Most High, Yahweh?
No.
That's Yahweh Shai also.
In verse 22, he says, for the Father, watch, read it again, verse 22.
For the Father
the Most High
judgeth no man.
Go ahead.
But hath committed all judgment unto the Son.
So that's going to be Yahweh Shai in Ezekiel 20 and 33, judging us.
He gave that command. He gave the rulership power to Yahweh Shai.
Right. So Yahweh Shai is going to be the one judging. He's going to be the ultimate judge. That's how the scriptures say they cover up the faces of the judges thereof. In Job
9:24.
Yeah, Job 9:24. Yeah, Job 9:24.
You're just giving a hand to the wicked. He
cover up the faces of the judges thereof. Yeah. The ultimate judge is Yahweh Shai. Christ. So it's telling us right here, the Father ain't going to judge.
Right.
Yahweh Shai, he gave that power to Yahweh Shai to judge.
It says, but have committed, meaning he gave that, right? Gave all judgment, not some, but all judgment unto the Son. And the Son in your Bible is capitalized, right?
Yep, that's a title.
That's Khan. That's denoting somebody's name or a title. And that's another name for Yahweh Shai. It's another title for Yahweh Shai.
Khan.
Go ahead, read on.
Verse 23.
That all men should honor the Son.
That all men should honor who?
The Son.
Read.
Even as they honor the Father.
Even as they honor the Father. Go ahead.
He that honored not the Son honored not the Father which had sent him.
Because if you dishonor Yahweh Shai, ultimately you're dishonoring Yahweh. Because if you don't like the order and the structure that Yahweh Shai is laying down, where do you think he got the order and the structure from? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He's getting order established on earth as it is in heaven. Who runs the heaven? The Most High. Yahweh Shai is coming down to set the same ordinances as it was delivered to him. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1 and 2. Keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. Right? Khan. So where do you think Paul got his orders from? How do you think Paul got his structure from? He got that same structure from Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai, the ultimate judge, is coming down to lay order.
And we know that the Most High runs everything, but Yahweh Shai is the judge in heaven also. He has that power in heaven also. Read on. Where we at?
Khan. Verse 23. He that honored, verse 24.
Daniel 7 and verse 13. Daniel 7 and verse 13. We have an hour. We got time. No. Daniel 7 and verse 13.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 13. I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like unto the Son of Man came with a cloud.
Speaking of Yahweh Shai, Came with the chariots. Go ahead.
Of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days.
Go ahead.
And they brought him near before him.
Right. Read verse 14.
And there was given him dominion.
It was given him what?
Dominion.
Read.
And glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is...
Right, because we read in Revelations that when he comes back, he had on his head, he had many crowns. He was known as the King of Kings. Con?
Right.
Go ahead.
Should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion.
Showing that his kingdomship, his rulership has no end. It says everlasting dominion. Go ahead.
Which shall not be destroyed.
Which shall not pass away.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit.
Wait, read the last precept again after everlasting dominion, because you left some out.
Which shall not pass away.
King, Khan, go ahead.
And his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed.
Right, because nobody's going to usurp authority over Yahweh Shai. Who's going to do that? No damn body, right?
Nobody. Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. Nobody.
In the Bible.
Nobody, baby.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Slide.
Chapter 12.
Who's going to destroy the kingdom? Nobody. God. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 14. Because this dude's a singer.
Yeah, I like to sing the song.
He's a singer turned rapper.
Tongue teacher.
Where we at? Ecclesiastes 12 and 14.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 14.
For
God shall bring every work into judgment.
He shall do what?
Bring every work into judgment.
Come on.
With every secret thing.
Read.
Whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Romans 2 and 6. So the Most High in Christ, they're going to bring every word work into judgment, whether it be secret. It's like it with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So everything we're going to be judged for, whether it be good or bad. And we're going to be judged according to the law. When we read down and we get into it, the books are going to be open. Book of life, the books of the law, and the books of your doings. And if your name ain't in that book of life, hasta la vista, baby. See you later. What is that saying? Wish I never knew you? What is it? Wouldn't see you, wouldn't want to be you.
That's it.
Romans 2 verse 6. I'm old school. That's why I'm old school like Hungry Hippo.
Romans chapter 2 verse 6.
Come on.
Who will render to every man according to his deeds?
2 and 16.
Is it 2 and 16? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Romans chapter 2 and verse 16.
Wow.
In the day when God shall judge the secret of men.
Because we in Ecclesiastes we were talking about the Most High, Yahweh Shai, he's going to judge every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil, right? So in that day, when the Most High judges, he's judging what? The secrets, right?
But how? Go ahead.
By Yahweh Shai according
By
to...
who?
By Yahweh Shai.
By who?
By Yahweh Shai.
So it was committed to Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
According to my gospel.
According to what?
My gospel.
According to the gospel. Not just the gospel, but the law. Because we know that Christ dealt with the law. So you're going to be judged according to the gospel. What does the gospel say? Love your neighbor as yourself. Love the Most High with all your heart. Right? That's what the law says. Right? Go to Ecclesiastes 11 and 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 9. And rejoice, O young man.
Read.
In thy youth.
Right?
And let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth.
Right. So he's saying, the Most High is telling, hey, rejoice in the days of your youth. Right? Let your heart be cheerful. Go ahead.
And let thy heart cheer thee in the day of thy youth.
And
walk in the ways of thine heart.
Right.
And in the sight of thine eye.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. Dun, dun, dun. Because what happens? The scriptures say foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So What do? We walk in the side of our mind, we walk in the side of our eyes, and what do? We mess up, right? We sin. We don't seek after the Most High. We seek after fun, enjoyment, and excitement, right? When you're young, what you want to do? Get drunk, hit everything, party all the time, party all the time, YOLO, right? Turn down for what?
YOLO, yo-yo.
Like turn up, nigga. I never turned off. I was young. Come on, bro.
I ain't have no off switch.
Off switch.
What was
I
off?
never got tired.
Oh.
I never got tired.
We were just
But see, the problem is, if you're so busy consumed in this life and following after this life, we got to remember one thing. Watch. Read on.
And walk. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment.
He will do what?
Bring thee into judgment.
Right. So if you walked after your heart and the side of your eyes in righteousness, you're going to be judged. If you did it in wickedness, you're going to be judged. So it wasn't that just because you were a kid and young and youthful that you went out and just did wickedness all the time. It wasn't about partying for everybody and doing all that. We're going to stick to it only because we time.
Oh.
Yeah, we ain't got time, bro.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
What you got?
Romans 7.
What you got?
Oh.
Yeah, go to it. Romans what?
2 and 6.
What is it? Yeah, we just. Oh,
16.
oh, okay. Who will render every man according to his deeds?
Okay, never mind.
No.
Thank you.
We got it. Go to it real quick.
Romans chapter 2, verse 6. Who will render to every man according to his deeds?
Right? What is it? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Because we went to Romans 2 and 16.
Right.
You have that one down. That's 2 and 6.
No, I know that. So you see that though. Every man is going to be rendered according to his doing.
Right.
Right. Watch this. Romans 2. Yeah, I mean that goes filthy. See, we got to read all the way down.
To 13 too.
No, it goes all the way down. But that's why we just jumped to 16.
Right.
So Yahushua is going to be the one doing this judgment. Go to Ecclesiastes. You finished Ecclesiastes 11 and 9? Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 23:19. You can read something if you want.
Ecclesiastes chapter 23, verse 19.
I'll read it for you.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 23 and verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Right, and what man is this? A man that only does the right thing in front of men. A man pleaser. Right? A man that's not thinking that the Most High sees me. But that's why he said he'll bring all works, whether they be good or evil, into judgment. Read on.
Beholding all the ways of men.
Beholding what?
All the ways
Some
of
of
men.
the ways.
All.
Wait, when I was young, it don't count.
All the ways of men.
Come on.
And considering the most secret parts.
Yeah, he gonna consider those thoughts. Read.
Verse 20. He knew all things, ever they were created.
He knew you from the foundation of the earth. Read.
So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all.
Come on.
This man shall be punished in the streets of the city.
Right, and this is what's going to happen. That judgment, that punishment, all's going to see it. Read.
In the streets of the city, and where he suspected not, he shall be taken.
Go to Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 28. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 11 verse 28. Because why? You got a lot of, oh, this man was righteous, this man was good, he did well, he did good on earth, he's blessed, he's righteous.
I got it.
Read.
Judge none blessed before his death.
Read. Why?
For a man shall be known in his children.
Right, because you know what manner of man he is according to his children. You know if he was really a righteous man according to the doings of his children. Did he pass down the wisdom? Did he pass down the knowledge? Matthew 25 and verse 32. Did I skip?
Okay, so
Oh, go to Psalms
98,
98 verse 9. I probably just missed throwing it in there. Psalms 98 verse 9.
Psalm chapter 98, verse 9.
Right.
Before the Lord, for he cometh to judge the earth.
He come to do what?
Judge the earth.
Come on.
With righteousness shall he judge the world.
Read. He's going to judge what?
With righteousness shall he judge the world.
Come on.
And the people with equity.
Is that it?
God.
Go to Matthew 25:32. So the whole world is going to be judged. Go ahead. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 32.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 32.
Uh-huh.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goat.
Oh. Go ahead. Read that again.
And before him shall he be gathered all nations.
So, read from the top. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
So he's going to gather all nations, because we already read before that he's going through all the nations to gather his people, right?
God.
Khan?
God.
Go ahead.
And he shall separate them one from another.
So he's sifting again. He's showing, this is another scripture showing you that he's sifting. He's sifting the house of Israel from amongst the nations. He's separating the Israelites from all these other nations. Go ahead.
As a shepherd divided his sheep from goat.
As he's dividing his sheep from the goats. Any questions?
So now we get into the judge. Well, we deal with the judging. You know, Yahushua is going to judge. What is he going to judge us by? Now the books are going to be open. Go to Revelations 20 and verse 12. So the books will be opened. So everybody talking about you don't need the law. Don't keep the law no more. We don't need the law. What books are going to be opened? What book is it that's going to be open to match against your doings? Read that. Revelations 20 and verse 12.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open.
Wait, what was open?
The books were open.
It's plural. The books were open. Go ahead.
And another book was open.
That's a third book. Come on.
Which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the book.
They were judged what?
Out of those things which were written in the books.
Right.
According to their works.
According to their what?
Works.
So you're judged according to your works. So you're judged according to what? What works?
All your works.
All your works got to match up with what?
The scriptures.
The scriptures, the books that were already written. See, there's books always being written. There's these books that were written already, the scriptures, the Bible, but then your works are being written down. So when the books get open, it's going to be like, prideful here, hateful, this, murderous, thou shalt not murder, you murdered. Thou shalt not this, you did it. Thou shalt not steal, you're a thief. These things are going to be matched up. You'll be judged through the law. So I was talking about, you got to keep the law. What the hell you got to keep? What do we got to keep if we don't keep the law? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Keep the gospel? The gospel, listen, Christ was reiterating the law. If you want to talk about keep the gospel, if you're that simple-minded and retarded to think like, oh, we got to keep the gospel. We got to keep the gospel of Christ. Christ's gospel, what did he do? He hit the law in every instant. Every time he spoke the law. So what the hell are we keeping? The law. Read verse 13.
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it.
Go ahead.
And the death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man.
They were what?
They were judged every man.
So everything was judged.
So the people who were dead, they came back to life, and they got brought to the judgment. Go ahead.
Every man according to their works.
You know what?
According to their works.
Go ahead.
And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire.
Go ahead.
This is the second death.
Read on.
And whosoever was found written
Whosoever was not found
written in the book of life.
See, if your name wasn't in that book of life, because you had the law, your doings, but then your name wanted to appear in the book of life. That's why when you read certain scriptures, it says, let me find one real quick. Hold on. I had it in my head too. Huh? Hold on, just 1 sec. Come on, don't feel. Oh my God, now it's on there. Watch. Oh my gosh. Book of Live. Terrible. Damn, I just don't want to fall frozen. Go ahead, read on.
And was cast into the lake of fire.
What's the next scripture? My phone.
The lake of fire. Go to Job chapter 21 and verse 17.
So there's going to be judgment through the books. The books have to be open. No. Revelations 1. There was another one in my head. That was one of them. Where we at?
Job chapter 21 verse 17.
Uh-huh.
How oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them. God distributeth sorrows in his anger.
Right. How often is the candle of the wicked put out? How often cometh their destruction upon them? Go ahead. Verse 18.
They are a stubble before the wind.
Yeah, they're going to be getting destroyed. Go ahead.
And a chaff that the storm carrieth away.
It says, and as a chaff that the storm carrieth away. So they're gonna get destroyed by the bundle loads. When you look at a chaff, those are little corn husks. The shell, you got the corn, right? And then you know that the covering, the flaky stuff that's on the corn, that's on the corn shells. That's the chaff, and it's just blowing away in the wind.
God.
Could hear nothing. Go ahead.
God layeth up his iniquity for his children.
For his what?
His children.
Right. Iniquity for his children. Because I might do something off, but then the children visiting the iniquity of the fathers unto the children to the third and fourth generation. Go ahead.
He rewarded him, and he shall know it.
Read verse 20.
His eyes shall see his destruction,
Uh-huh.
and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For the what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his mouth is cut off in the midst?
When the number of his months is cut off in the midst. Read it again.
When the number of his months is cut off in the midst.
Go ahead.
Shall any teach God knowledge?
So is anybody going to correct the Most High? Is anybody going to correct Yahweh Shai? Well, you know what? I think I should be able to do this, or I think or give an excuse. You know what? The reason why I did this and actually be justified in the reason why they did what they did. Can anybody teach the Most High that?
Nope.
Can anybody give him a suggestion or any knowledge? La?
Not one bit.
Not one bit, right? Seeing what? Go ahead.
Con. Shall any teach God knowledge, seeing and judgeth those that
Seeing
are in
he judgeth those things that are on high.
You need a bigger Bible. I don't know why y'all brothers got these Bibles with like mini print. I got better eyes than all y'all. I got a big print Bible. You gotta get a bigger Bible, bro. Go ahead, read on.
And one dieth in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
His breasts are full of milk,
Uh-huh.
and his bones are moistened with marrow.
Right, so it's showing you that no matter what state you're in, you could be young and you could be a young buck You could be a young horse, right?
Robust.
You could be robust. Or read verse 25.
And another diet in the bitterness of his soul.
Go ahead.
And never eateth with pleasure.
Read verse 26.
They shall lie down alike in the dust. And
They shall what?
lie down alike in the
Whether
dust.
you rich or you poor, you're going to die.
We all have the same ending.
We all got the same end, and you're going to be judged. Go ahead.
And the worms shall cover them.
Go to Isaiah 14
In verse 21.
and 21. Isaiah 14 and 21. So the judgment, the books are going to be open. We all have the same end, regardless. We all got to meet our maker. It don't matter if you're rich, poor. It don't matter if you the king supreme. It don't matter if you the peasant. Your works are always going to come into play. Your works, your faith, there's going to be a judgment for everyone. And if your works don't add up, hasta la vista. Isaiah 14:21.
So if your works don't add up, what does he have prepared?
Death and destruction.
Go ahead.
Read that.
Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers.
You see that? So when we went back and it says, when we went back, where was it when it talked about, I'm sorry, hold on. Book of life, destruction. Where is it at? We read it. Yeah.
Job 21 and 19.
Right, it was Job 21
In verse 19.
and verse 19 where it says,
God lays up his iniquity for his children.
Right. So you're not going to escape. Somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get this death and destruction, this repayment. Read where you at again?
Con. And
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Go ahead.
That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Psalm 69 and 28. So the ones that caused iniquity, they're not going to be in the book of life. Neither are their children. They're going to be cut off. They're going to be cut out of the book of life. It said if your name didn't appear in the book of life, you ended up in that lake of fire. Right? So Psalm 69:28.
Psalm chapter 69 and verse 28. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living.
Who? The ones that committed iniquity, the wicked. That the wicked is reserved for the day of destruction, right? So they're not going to make it into the kingdom because their name is not going to be in the book of life. It says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living. Go ahead.
And not be written with the righteous.
There's not going to be no wickedness in the kingdom. I wonder if heaven got a ghetto? No, there ain't going to be no ghetto in the kingdom. The kingdom is going to be righteous. Philippians 4 and 3. Oh, I missed it. Go ahead. Psalms 3 and 5.
Psalms chapter 3 and verse 5.
Yeah, why don't you do that first before I read that? Psalms 3 and 5.
Psalm chapter 3
I
verse 5.
skipped the scripture. I'm sorry.
I thought you had that.
No.
I laid me down and slept.
Psalms chapter 3 and verse 5. He that overcometh.
That's Revelations chapter 3 and verse 5.
I'm sorry, Revelations.
Psalm chapter 3 verse 5.
No. Revelations chapter 3 and verse 5.
Yeah, Revelations chapter 3 and verse 5. I'll read it.
Our mistake. Scratch it out. Revelations chapter 3. Maybe we should slow down a little bit because I feel like it's getting chaotic.
All right.
Revelations chapter 3 and verse 5.
I'll read it. Revelations chapter 3 and verse 5.
Come on.
He that overcometh.
He that what?
Overcometh.
Read.
The same shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out.
He that overcome what? All the filth of the world. All the man, there's so much to overcome, it's not even enough to name. But all the, think about it, man. He that overcomes all the seducing of this world. The temptation. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know how that word escaped me. Water. He that overcomes all the temptations of this world. Go ahead.
The same shall be clothed in white raiment.
Come on.
And I will not blot out his name out of the book of life.
Read.
But I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels.
Now we go to Psalms 69 and verse 28.
Psalm 69 and verse 28.
Right.
Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous.
You see that? So we know who is not going to be confessed to the Father, the wicked. Abadiah.
Psalms what again?
69 and verse 28. Philippians 4 and verse 3.
Philippians chapter 4 and verse 3. And I will entreat thee also, true yoke fellow.
True what?
Yoke fellow.
Go ahead.
Help those women which labor with me in the gospel.
Come on.
With Clement also, and with other my fellow laborers.
They're what?
Fellow laborers.
Go ahead.
Whose name are in the book of life.
So what is it telling you that you got to be to get into the book of life?
Fellow laborers.
You got to be a yoke fellow. You got to put in that
fellow.
work. You got to work.
I'm a co-worker.
You got to be a worker in this word. You got to, like the scriptures say, you got to addict yourself to the ministry. You got to addict yourself to the ministry of the Most High to be written in the book of life. The wicked ain't concerned about doing this work. So what are they doing? They off doing who the hell knows what. They off, I'm going to do me. That's what they doing. So they're not going to be written in this book in the book of life. So no kingdom for them.
Revelations chapter 22 and verse 12. Revelations chapter 25.
Revelation chapter 22, verse 12. And behold, I come quickly.
Who comes quickly? Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And my reward is with me.
To
give every man according to his work.
To do what?
To give every man according to his work.
Come on.
Shall be, I am Alpha and Omega.
And
the beginning and the end.
Read.
The first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments.
Wait, blessed are they that don't keep the commandments?
That do his commandments.
What the commandments are done away with.
That do his commandments.
Come on.
That they may have right to the tree of life.
Read.
And may enter in through the gate into the city.
They might enter into where?
The gates into the city.
Read.
For without are dogs.
So without the city, the ones that don't make it into the city are what?
Are dogs.
If you don't know what a dog is, look it up. It's a male prostitute. It ain't talking about no dog roof. It's a male prostitute. Read.
And sorcerers.
And what?
Sorcerers.
Come on.
And whoremongers.
And who?
And whoremongers.
So a whoremonger, male prostitutes, go ahead.
And murderers.
Women prostitutes, read.
And idolaters.
Read.
And whoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Yeah, you ain't coming into the kingdom. You're not written in the book of life. 2nd Ezra 7 and 34. Wow. 2nd Ezra 7 and verse 34. What's that?
In Revelation 22:15 it says, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie is a saying who loves to make a lie.
Yeah, whoever loveth and make it. So you love to hear it. You go along with the lies, and you like to tell lies. Yeah. So whoever loveth and maketh a lie. You know somebody's lying, but you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. You basically the same. 2nd Ezra 7:34. Damn, all the way to 59.
2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 54.
Let me get there real quick. Hold on. I might have just added that in.
7 and 54.
2nd Ezra 7 and verse 34.
2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 34. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong.
Come on.
And the work shall follow, and the reward
the what shall what?
The work shall follow.
Read.
And the reward shall be showed.
What is the reward? Being written into that book of life. Go ahead.
And the good deeds shall be of force.
Read.
And wicked deeds shall bear no rule.
And wicked deeds shall bear no rule. You about that wickedness? It says don't even write his name in the book of life. Go to Revelations 21 and verse. Revelations, Zion, get this. Give him a break. Because we dealt with the even reading all. He'll be all right. You looking at him like he'll be all right. Right? So that was how you get into the book of life. So once you're written into the book of life, we know you get to enter into the gates. So let's look at this kingdom that is prepared. Let's look at the kingdom. Go to Revelations 21 and verse 1. Huh? Basically, I believe it's the whole chapter. Yep. Read that. Revelations 21 and verse 1. So this is going to be talking about the new heaven, the kingdom. Okay? After all the destruction, after all the judgment, we're going to have heaven on earth. So this is going to talk about and describe what it was looking like.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Go ahead.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
Go ahead.
And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
You see that? So it says the New Jerusalem is coming out of the heaven, coming down from God out of the heaven. It's already prepared as a bride adorned for her groomsmen. Go ahead.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
He shall do what?
Wipe away all their tears from their eyes.
Come on.
And there shall be no more death.
There shall be no more what?
No more death.
So in the kingdom there's no death. There's no sorrow, no pain. Read.
Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain.
Come on.
For the former things are passed away.
For the former things are passed away. When it talks about there was no more seas in verse 1, all the nations gone, out of power. The nations have been took out of power. Think about why we're in sorrow and mourning and pain, because the nations are in power. So now that they've been taken out of power, there's no more death, destruction. Where you at?
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and holy.
Read.
And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that athirst of the mountain, or the fountain of the water of life freely.
Right, so this is the Most High setting up the new kingdom for us. The fountain of the water of life, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and righteousness. Read on.
Verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. And I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
Come on.
But the fearful and unbelieving.
But the what?
The fearful and the unbelieving.
Read.
And the abominable, and the murderers, and the whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone.
Right. All those that endured affliction and suffering until the end. He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. We're gonna inherit all the promises. But all those ones that doubted, double-minded, stiff-necked, fought against the correction is grievous to them that forsaketh the way. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it if you're double-minded. Abadiah.
Is this still like a plead?
Is this what?
Is this like a plead? Is this like an opportunity though? Because at this point, like
No, there's no pleading here.
This is it. This is just the righteous that he's talking
Right.
about.
But he's letting us know who's gonna make it into the kingdom. You gotta remember, it's always all future prophecy, but he's letting us know who's gonna be there and who's not.
Well, that's what I'm
But
saying.
at this point, when the kingdom is already coming down and being set up, there's not going to be no wicked to enter. The wicked have already been judged and cut off. The wicked have already been judged and destroyed. You see that?
No. Well, I mean, yes, but in 8, it's saying, but the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable, these are those that aren't going
No, they're not. He just letting us know that they're not. These people didn't make it in.
Oh, that's why.
Right.
Okay.
Watch. Reverse. You got to read verse 7 and 8 together. Okay. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. And I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful.
But the fearful. So he's letting us know. But the ones that didn't overcome, the fearful, go ahead.
The fearful, the unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake, which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Go ahead.
And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride.
Right, the bride is Israel. Go ahead.
The lamb's wife.
And the lamb we know is Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God.
So the angel took John into the spiritual realm and showed him the vision of a rebuilt city of Jerusalem. Y'all understand that?
God.
Read it again.
Verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit.
Right, so he took him into the spiritual realm. Go ahead.
To a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem.
Right, so he showed him a rebuilt Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Descending out of the heaven from God.
What verse you at?
Verse 11.
Read.
Having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal.
Right, so it's talking about how the city was illuminated, how the city looked. The power of the Most High was emanating from this city. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels.
Right.
And the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes.
The names of what?
The 12 tribes.
Come on.
Of the children of Israel.
Right. Read.
On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates.
Right,
and
so there was 3 gates north on each side, 3 on the 4 corners, with all the 12 tribes' names written. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
Read. So the 12 apostles that followed Yahweh Shai, their names were written. Read.
And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth.
Right, the breadth, go ahead.
And he that measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs.
We got to get that. Get the measurements. Go ahead.
The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal.
Right, so we'll get the furlong measurement, but if you imagine this city coming down, it was equal. So it wasn't like a rectangle, it was a perfect square, perfect cube. It said the height, the breadth, and the length, right? The city lieth 4 square. The length is as large as the breadth. So it was as long as it was wide as it was tall.
1,500 miles.
1,500 miles, that's
12,000 furlongs?
No, it wasn't 12,000 12,000 furlongs, yeah. What you got?
That's equivalent to furlong.
How many miles is that?
So do 12,000 miles or do 12,000 furlongs?
220 yards.
No, I want miles.
2 miles.
It's an eighth of one.
I want to know how much miles it is without you, eighth of a mile. Yeah, that's too much math.
1,500.
Watch this. It's
1,400.
1,000 what?
It says equivalent to 1,500 miles.
1,500 miles.
It says 1,400, 1,500.
Probably like from here to like the
It's-
East Coast.
Yeah.
They say it's actually from west to east coast, the length.
But the length of west to east coast is 3,000 miles.
What is it?
California to New York,
It's
That's
like
about-
from here to like the East Coast,
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
but that's small.
Further.
I think it's bigger. That seems pretty small, don't it? But then again, that's big.
They said equal or with.
That's pretty big though.
Yeah, because that's like
One city going from New York to Colorado.
states, just states.
Yeah, think about one
How
city,
many states?
Within the height.
and then the height is the same height.
How many levels?
And the breadth.
Yeah, and so it's this wide.
That's
So I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, that's massive,
Yeah.
right?
Con.
Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And he measured the wall thereof
Uh-huh.
144 cubits, according to the measure of a man.
According to the measure of a what?
Of a man.
Now, when you do 144 cubits, I believe that's 100. That's like 220 feet. Y'all didn't get it. Read that scripture again.
And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man.
Right.
That is of the angel.
That's how big these angels are. It equals about 220 feet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Think about that. Read on.
To my 7-foot giant, stop it.
That's
Verse 18. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper.
It was of what?
Jasper.
Come on.
And the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass.
The gold was so pure you could see right through it. Damn. Transparent gold?
Man. There was a woman at the mall today. She showed me, she was in Japan. So she showed me some pictures. And it was a temple, but it was pure gold. So it wasn't like darker, it was lighter.
Yeah.
But I could see it being 100% pure gold. I could see it looking saucy like that.
Yeah, like almost luminescent.
Yeah.
You could like look like the easy. You could look right through it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read on.
Verse 19. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manners of precious stones.
Uh-huh.
The first foundation was jasper.
Uh-huh.
The second, sapphire.
Uh-huh.
The third, chalcedony. The fourth, emerald.
Uh-huh.
The fifth, sardonyx. The sixth, sardius. The seventh, chrysolite. The eighth, beryl. And the ninth, topaz. The 10th, a chrysoprase. The 11th, jacinth. The 12th, amethyst.
Uh-huh.
And the 12 gates.
So it's 12 different stones for the foundations. If I'm not mistaken, these are the 12 stones in the ephod that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. What you got?
So verse 17.
210, right?
Yeah, 210 feet.
Yeah. So that angel was 200. So the walls, 200, the gate. It said,
verse 17.
And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man that is of the angel.
So it's about 115.
115 what?
15 feet.
No, that's 210.
I forgot the 4.
Oh,
140.
144. No, so it's more. It's 220.
220.
Yeah, it's about 220 feet. I did the math on it one time. If I'm not mistaken, 220 foot angel. 216? Yeah, okay, about. So think about that.
Minus his dreads.
Go ahead, read on. Where you at?
Verse
21.
21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls.
They were 12 what?
Pearls.
Read.
Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold.
Uh-huh.
As it were transparent glass.
Right, so it's just showing you that you can't even conceive this in your head, because I can't even picture what the hell's going on right now. It's unconceivable. Like, man couldn't build this.
right.
That's why it said it had to be, it came from the heavens. Like, come on, man. Think about that. Pure gold, perfect foundations of sapphire. Notice that they didn't say no diamonds.
Yeah.
Because diamond is not even a valuable rock.
Right.
Diamond ain't valuable. Man made that valuable. The Most High didn't make that valuable. Diamond ain't nothing. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had
Where
no.
you at?
Verse 22.
Go ahead.
I saw, well, verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun.
The temple wasn't a building. The temple was the children of Israel in the spirit. We didn't need that. We didn't need a tabernacle. Go ahead.
Verse 22, 23. And the city had no need of sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of God did lighten it.
Right, because the light was the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We know that. So the wisdom kept it lit. Go ahead.
And the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it.
Right. So it said there was no sun or moon, right? Because the sun represents the wisdom, the moon represents the understanding, but the light represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So that's why you didn't need that. Where you at?
Verse 24, second precept.
Read back in verse 23.
23. And the city had no need of sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of God did lighten it. And the Lamb is
right, because we're going to be living by the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. What's that?
So this city that comes down out of heaven, this is where the righteous that would be on the earth would be dwelling in? Okay.
Go ahead.
And the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light.
The nations of them that are what?
Saved.
Saved for what, though? They just saved to kick it in the kingdom with us?
La.
Go ahead.
Saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
You see that? So it says the kings of the earth will bring their honor and glory into it. So what is that talking about? Isaiah 14, Isaiah 60, where it says the gates will be open and not closed, and the forces of the Gentiles will be brought in. That's what that's talking about. So that's going to be here. It got to be here. First, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So we got to have, the kingdom is going to be established on earth. When Yahweh Shai comes, that's what he's coming to do, establish the kingdom on earth. The kingdom in heaven, it's already done. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. It already is set up in heaven. So it has to be done here. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just going, bam, right there. But it tells us, read where you at one more time.
Verse 25.
Verse 20, Revelation 21, 25. Hold on. I mean, there's a lot of precepts to this breakdown this is a breakdown. Revelation 21. I'm kind of just going through it, but this is a breakdown of this chapter to give precept upon precept to break it down even further than what I'm saying. We just don't have time for the breakdown of the chapter because it's not it's not a Revelations breakdown. But if you can see it in your mind, it's just giving you a depiction of the kingdom. So you're at verse what?
25.
Read verse 24.
And the nation of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it.
They're going to walk in what light? They're going to walk in the light of the law. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth.
The kings of what?
The kings of the earth.
Right. All the rulers of the earth, or the once kings that were in power. Go ahead.
Do bring their glory and honor into it.
Right. They're going to bring their glory. You can read, Isaiah 60, where it says the forces of the Gentiles will be, it says our gates will be open and never shut. And the forces of the Gentiles will be brought unto you. That's what it's talking about. They're going to be bringing us all their riches and wealth. They're going to bring all that stuff. What's up? Huh?
Next verse.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day.
Right.
For there shall be no night there.
Right. But Isaiah just reiterates that. Isaiah 14, Isaiah 60, it reiterates and gives and shows you more about that. Huh? Did somebody say something? What's that?
Oh, so there's not gonna not literally be no night, but just saying that the people won't be in darkness as far as
the light is the wisdom.
Right.
Right. The light is the wisdom. Go ahead.
Verse 27. Actually, 26. And they shall bring the glory of honor of the nations into it.
Right. What verse was that? 26?
26.
Yeah, so, and it's showing us that the kingdom on earth is going to have absolutely zero negativity, corruption, death, destruction. The light, that wisdom is going to illuminate to the point like death and destruction can't get in there. Negative thinking can't get in there. Y'all understand that, right?
Come.
Where we at?
Verse 27.
Go ahead.
And there shall in no wise enter, and there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth.
Read.
Neither whatsoever worketh abomination.
Read.
Or maketh a lie. But they which are written in the Lamb's book.
In the what?
In the Lamb's book.
The only one that's going to get in is the ones that's written in the Lamb's book. Read.
Of life.
Read. Go to Isaiah 25 and verse 8. Somebody else get Isaiah 34 and verse... Whoa.
Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 8.
And somebody else get Isaiah 34 and verse 1. We're not going to be able to get the whole chapter. Go ahead, read that.
Isaiah chapter 24 verse 8.
25 and 8.
25 verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory. And the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces.
Read.
And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from all the earth.
Read.
For the Lord has spoken it.
Right, so all the sorrow, pain, tears, death, he's going to swallow that up. Go ahead.
And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God.
This is our what?
This is our God.
Go ahead.
We have waited for him.
Read.
And he will save us.
Read.
This is the Lord. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation.
Isaiah 34 and verse 1.
Come. Isaiah 34 and 1.
We're not going to be able to hit the whole... We might be able to. Go ahead.
Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken.
Hold on real quick. No, it's not the whole chapter. Go ahead, read.
Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations,
read.
And his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, and hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cut out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses.
Read.
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
So he's giving a recap. This is a recap again of the whole deliverance and destruction. And we went over this. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Right, because it's going back into that destruction, the nuclear destruction. Go ahead.
And all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from the vine.
Read.
And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Come on.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
Right, because he's going back and talking about the destruction of the nations. Read.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
And it's dealing with Esau right here. Read on.
And upon the people of my curse to judgment.
Read.
The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness.
It's filled with blood. Come on.
And with the blood of lambs and goats. With the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah.
Right.
And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them. And the bullocks with the bulls. And their land shall be soaked with blood. And their dust made fat with fatness.
Read.
For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance. And the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch. And the dust thereof into brimstone. And the land thereof shall become burning pitch. And it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. For generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it.
That's the pelican. Go ahead.
And the owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it.
Let's see here. Read back in read verse 9.
Verse 9. The streams thereof shall be turned into pitch.
Right.
And the dust thereof into brimstone.
Right. So let's talk about the destruction. So what it's doing, and y'all can finish it up just for time's sake, but it's going through and it's talking about the destruction again. Go back to, now jump over to 2nd Ezra. Jump over to 2nd Ezra. So you can finish up, y'all can finish reading Isaiah 34. That goes into just more destruction and just recaps a little bit. Go back to 2nd Ezra 8. And verse, is it 42? Nah. Start at verse 52.
2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 52. For unto you is a paradise open. The tree of life is planted.
It's what?
A paradise is open.
Go ahead.
The tree of life is planted.
Right. Unto you who? The righteous. Go ahead.
The time to come is prepared.
Read.
Plentifulness is made ready.
Read.
A great city is built.
Read.
And rest is allowed.
Read.
Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you.
Come on.
Wickedness, weakness, and the moth is hid from you.
It says the weakness and the moth is showing you that there's not going to be no decay. He ain't going to break down. Things are not going to rust away. The moth, right? What does the moth do? It eats cloth and destroys fabrics. Weakness. It said it's not. It said it's weakness and decay, and the moth is hid from you. Go ahead.
And corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten.
Come on, for 54.
Sorrows are past.
Read.
And in the end is eschewed the treasure of immortality.
What's going to be there?
The treasure of immortality.
What are we fighting for?
The treasure of immortality.
Read.
And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish.
Come on.
For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High.
See, don't worry about it. See, in this time, that ain't going to be the time to worry about the multitude that perished, because they had a chance. Read on.
Though scorn of his law and forsake his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous.
They have done what?
Trodden down his righteous.
Read.
And said in their heart that there is no God.
Read.
Yea, that nothing they...
Yea, and knowing that knowing they must die. Go ahead.
For as the things aforesaid shall receive you. So thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught.
Read.
But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them. And were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them.
You see that? This is beautiful, man. Every time I read this, I get goosebumps.
It's poetic right here.
He said, read verse, oh man.
58 again.
Read verse 58 one more time.
And said
read verse 56.
56.
Read verse 55.
And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish.
I ain't even going to give a damn. I'm going to be in the kingdom kicking it. No more sorrows, no more pain, no more weakness. I'm going to be in rest. Right?
How many people love rest?
We're gonna be able to rest. Think about how tired you are. You don't get no real rest.
Right?
You get 5 hours and then you're like, damn. You don't get no real rest. Imagine not having to worry about having to wake up and sit in traffic or work at this damn white man's job. You're gonna be able to sit back and rest.
Like not rest where you get a day off from work and still got to do some other work.
No, you get to rest while somebody else do your work. Read.
Verse 56. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High.
When they had the liberty to do right, they despised the Most High. Go ahead.
Thou scorn of his law.
Read.
And forsook his ways.
They scorned the law, they hated it, and they forsook his ways. Go ahead.
Moreover, they had trodden down his righteousness.
And they tried to trot us down for trying to keep the ways. Read.
And said in their heart that there is no God.
Read.
Yea, and that knowing they must die.
And that knowing that they must die. Read verse 59.
For as the things aforesaid shall receive you.
Right, the things aforesaid, the paradise, the rest, the ease, everything in verse 52 down. When he said paradise is open, a tree of life is planted, plenteous is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. All these things aforesaid, we shall receive. Go ahead.
For it was not his will.
No, it says, so thirst and pain are prepared for them, the ones that scorned his law. Thirst and pain. Niggas gonna be in hell burning. You're gonna be in that unquenchable lake of fire burning. Thirsty as hell. Can I get a drop? Can I bring him a drop, Yahweh? Hell nah. Nope. Read.
For it was not his will that men should come to naught.
See, this wasn't the will of the Most High that men should be destroyed like this. Go ahead.
But they which he created have defiled the name of him.
But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them. See, the wicked defiled the name of the Most High. Go ahead.
And were unthankful.
They were what?
Unthankful.
Come on.
Unto him which prepared life for them.
Because the wicked says there is no God. The wicked said there is no heaven. There is no afterlife. So they're unthankful. The Most High got this prepared. And they're like, yeah, we don't want that. We're going to kick it right here. We're going to make earth, this carnal realm, we're going to make this our heaven. And they have. They've made this their kingdom. Read on.
And therefore is my judgment now at hand.
Read.
These things have I not showed unto all men.
Read.
But unto thee, and a few like thee. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders, which thou wilt begin to do in the last times.
Right.
But at what time thou hast not showed me.
2nd Ezra, last scripture, 7 and verse 46.
2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 46 in the annotated.
7 and 46, 2nd Ezra 7.
All right.
Verse. No, I know, but sometimes it's just, I just want to see what it. Go ahead, read that.
2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse.
So y'all see the kingdom, right? Y'all see what's prepared and why we fight. You know, this is why we fight, man. For some, it might sound fictitious and just outlandish, but it's real. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's sad because, you know, we've been beat down so long. We've been seeing the condition that is, like you said, it's inconceivable to think that we're going to receive just something just so majestic and powerful, but it's real.
Yeah.
And it's coming.
It's really real. Where do we go to in 2nd Ezra 7:46? Oh, okay. Come on. Read on.
All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 46. But what of
we're in the annotated. We're in the annotated Bible and Apocrypha. Go ahead.
But what of those for whom I pray? For who among the living is there that has not sinned?
Right.
Or who is there among the mortals that has not transgressed your covenant?
So it's a question. Go ahead.
And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torments to many.
Yeah, you see that? The world to come is going to bring, because he's asking, who is without sin? Nobody. But he said the world to come is paradise for few and torment for many. Watch, read on.
But torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us.
What, read?
Which has alienated us from God. And has brought us into corruption and the ways of death. And has shown us the paths of perdition. And removed us far from life.
Removed us from what?
Far from life.
Read.
And that not merely for a few, but for almost all who have been created.
You see that? So it says not just a few, but almost all have written themselves out of life, out of the book of life. So that's why it says the world that be created are for few. Read on.
He answered me and said, Listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you and will admonish you once more. For this reason the Most High has made not the world, but two. Inasmuch as ye have said that the righteous are not many, but few.
Read.
While the ungodly abound, hear the explanation for this.
Come on.
For if ye have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay?
Read.
I said, Lord, how could that be? And he said to me, Not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Defer to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, You produce gold and silver and bronze, and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold.
Hold on real quick. Let me see here. I think that might be it. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. I think that might be it. We all see that, right?
Come on.
Jump back up, read verse 48 again.
Verse 48. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from the Most High, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death.
So you got to think about it. This huge kingdom, right? We did the measurements. What, 1,500 miles long, high, and wide. So, I mean, that's pretty big. It says a few will dwell therein. A few. So who knows what that few is going to be? We know there's going to be 144 governing body, and then the other ones that make it. The 1/3. Well, who knows how much that's going to be, the number. It ain't going to be a lot. It ain't going to be a lot. So, I mean, that's it. That's it on that. Any questions? It was a long one. Any questions on that? Yeah, four part banger.
Prepare for part 5.
And we got part 5 coming, and part 6. Nah, what you could do, actually, because we got this out the way, now you can go back and watch the heaven and hell classes. Right. Well, no, you can't, because the hell class was about Hades, which was before the destruction. The heaven class. You watch the heaven class. The heaven class said he did the heaven on earth. You do heaven on earth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you go back and watch that after this one. It'll tie everything right on in.
And the hell goes into it.
But the hell is kind of in between everything that's going on.
It's like an interlude?
Yeah.
He did a class on that, though, that we can watch again.
The hell one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing with the hell class was, the hell class is more of the spiritual and where it's at, and
Like the holding cells?
the holding for this day.
Right.
The reincarnation. That's more for. So that could be watched before. So that is the prelude. It's the prelude. Then you got the story. Then you got the heaven class, the heaven on earth. So a lot of meaty classes, man. Hopefully it was clear and it came across clear and it edified, and yeah, no more black on black crime, harmony. I'm just reading some of the comments. I hear you. I'm getting rid of. Let's see, the treasure of immortality in the end of a wicked world. That's what we waiting for. No more worries. I've been on duties. Just got home today. Rest sounds fantastic to me. Yeah, I mean, we all want that rest. You know, Micah tells us that right now it's not our rest.
Micah 2 and 10.
Micah 2 and 10. Right now it's not our rest, so it's like work. We like Rihanna part 30. Work.
I ain't heard that in a minute.
So yeah, hopefully that edified. Again, it was long, 4 parts. If you missed a part, the other 3 parts are they're on the YouTube. You go back and watch them. Any questions? Yeah, they just commenting online. Yeah, about the walls made from pearls. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine, but it's right now it's unfathomable for us. Think about it. The scriptures say, he said, in my Father's house there's many mansions. I mean, damn. What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means. In the Most High's dwelling, there's many places set up for us, but even to imagine that, how big is my mansion going to be? Because the definition of a mansion ain't nothing. And then you got some mansions that are bigger than other mansions that are still mini mansions. Right? What classifies something as a mansion?
But you ain't got to pay the property tax.
I got to look that up. But who's going to be keeping those mansions? That grass. So, yeah, any questions? Nothing online? All right, well, we definitely want to thank everybody for joining us. Remember the feast day on Saturday, the 8th, Memorial of Blowing of the Trumpets. If you want to get with us and you're in Houston, hit us up. You can hit me up at 303-557-8979, or you can email us at isbhbk@isbhbk.org. If there's nothing else, go ahead and salute them and say shalom.
Shalom.
Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Change the truth for God.